It is often so with this car. What do you want to secondary school? I didn't fear. Because my home and cook for the time. Now, my Nanya would do in a book. First, this one and another first and for my yes, sacrifice it at the wake up. Where we are. Now, yes, I was Cano near the wake up. Where should we are what already because I near another day to buy. And this and no one was here, Saquachi. And to show your bad time, not a woman, yes, problem one. Say they don't really first, no. Where the call, yeah, now the wake up. And one no, not for pressure to my hammer so because my hammer so also about the FSHS, you know, a year abroad on the 24-hour economy. So, and to be a stress and Mamma Tonoso, and before now, as they say, walk out.
Podam. Call provision stop no store na wofusuno. Kona ka chama me se onyi kinsop miensa, onyi geisha miensa, onyi saralak mienu. Ekohwe nkwase ajantra nyoma. Mogigi sika na mo de cover provisions agogumu store mu ofie. Na aban bre, na nipsika ye hia de ya de pa na ye nya me say. Wa wo nursing training college, wo teacher training college. Haruna Idrisu say aban fidi obi abiem koji loan. O se anu nti wonti ase ajai school no. Obi ampa obi achaw. Masa, so won't tia koku the way is your front. E kwan da wanim no free school ho obi krati fie pe school mu aba. When you sika koto perfume gugu ho, when you sika koto pons twiwanim, u change draws every week. O person na say fe, de bia no which was skirt no, yensa ma oduane ndi o bodam. Call provision stop no store na wo fusu no. Kona ka chama me say onyi kinsop miensa, onyi geisha miensa, onyi saralak mienu. On my gari olonka 10. Now only a wow shop never breast could be Naji alawa count. Mupe free dodo. Now what one also be so co school. Miss Amodi and Indi. Mina Mikasa breast school. When who colleagues are Omoko Sinjuma. When who colleagues are Omoko Ecosia at the pump. When who girlfriends are almost call some cosia or boyfriends of cosia mechanic. I don't know how go here no. So why you saw be so 2 schools to dia. Pe we dia nia obedi. Aban ma loan. Koji loan no bedidi. San kwasi asoso no ya soso so na motigana na jimi. Enyansafo na omo mu no, omo be din agi loan no, a certify omo, agi certificate, akwa yedwuma e wo GGMC. Akwa yedwuma e wo eyede Bank of Ghana Hospital. Chip compounds no, aban ba be ni nyina, aban betua nurses ka. So wuntumi entwen enko school ninji loan na. The way is your front. Kokurom. Mo bodam. Mo MPP for ejimi mo for 8 years mo enye adwuma anye mo tititi school obi apa abrochira ko because hospital bi eni obe adwuma wo aban bi aba o say hey na tetene enyire ni so ko boarding school wo de aduane ko ade na sia mo pese mo de aduane be ko mo ana bibi ya mo nursing training colleges omo nyina high dan omo nte campus mpo obehu nursery no high chamber hall no otikurum onte campus o obekọ otebema so your man chop money anopa, chop money area. Obeko teacher training ni ba. Okono oposan kwan ama taxi driver. I swa bodam. Me say, obeko nursing training ni akwara na ote bema fie e posan kwan. I swa bodam. Owios me palawa abuofunu. Wako yan kwan de oto akwaje. O palawa wo ene ho. Loan wo ho kwaje. Omo nyina rent dan. Obeko no makoto TV abubom. No ma baba omo name omo hwe Champions League. Yadi ejiminti yetu atakra ni ataba ma osa alawa munyina monko ma me wo se ma ye ko school ma esike beto aduane aban se loan so ho nje kwa kwaje ni bia ka ho mo bodam ehia wa trefie ye mfo hia nko school krom ha ye we hia fo man ko school me na me ka kire wo krom ha ye we hia fo ha man ko school o mo mpe problem into man ko obi o ha on pay student loan problem into ono okosia adwuma enti wo hwe na se untumi and could feed you school at Trefie because I buy the person will see more hospitals. I buy the person will see more schools. Into sa alawana sa sika na buy the base our project no. I buy sa koji loan. Untuminji loan na the way is your front. Monkwasi asem no. Obi any sa time no.
Abusian for Mamunina Aquaba. And then the manajo. I'm an manajo pa. Michacha Munina, Ewo Babi, Bibia, Ewo Sapri Wemu. Said the Munina Munim no. A RAZ Media GH. And Bibinti, I'm very late, but I will say there is a space in town. I have to do something. Juma 17 and let me call Juma. You could have been in the about 2 bedroom at this time. I was not even believing Kurapo said, commit to number fee because of emergency and watch. The message for said, Monfan Chemi says, I better way. Maso camera, I was a better way. Now, the message said, Wabano, for modern said, who share video na wa frɛ atiefoɔ nkaefo yɛmi anom nkaefo ɔma baba kan ho na de dwuma no ahyehyɛ so kama na ne mo di nkɔmɔ akɔ akyire na nsɛm bebree na wɔ hɔ ai nsɛm bebree na wɔ hɔ sɛ da bia ka sɛ yɛ nka short memory association for no ho bi nti nsɛm bi a asi wɔ man no nsɛm a esi ya kyɛ deɛ ebesie the see now, the see ya tram no, your archive no, your database no, and your research now, near Baby Jabiagum. Here they are check Ghana for say, yes, we know the country that we belong to. Now, you can't say, man, I say, your time be, and at the time will be. Now, the reality needs to be told. I also, a Ghana near, conscious of the country that you belong to. I also know the history of your country. And never wow. And never more courage, you know. Now so be one okay, say we Ghana near. Odo say Sibwaka say, yes, me, I'm a Ghanaian with full G, with capital G. Yeah. Now busia there, it my chance na yenchia yewia ba Deborah Che ewo YouTube. Yemia Kwasi Asamoah rapa nyinamachia pa ewo Facebook. Mami Esther K Barima enso ewo Facebook, Fiura ewo YouTube, Fiura ba kope. Edi Okran enso ewo YouTube. Ichia oye pa ena Mami Diana Apia enso ewo Facebook. Abusia mamu nyina kwa abaso nkona na ebedi nkomo. Ene die nkomo na ebediri mu ede pa. Na minim se platform we so ho empanfo apa Mark Vanofori mo akwaba platform we so minim se ye wo nipa wo haya bebre anyini chemme bebre anyini chemme bebre nso ye me type because me call na me ko he audience nipa o mutie the program ameya bibia kire me pefe se nipa wo hwe me no empanfo dɔɔso nse ne nkora ai ɔmo hwɛ me nkwada ɔmo wom a ɔmo nya bɛsɛ 20 years ɔmo nduru 2% empanfo nko a ɛna ba me platform we so enti me sɛ matiefo a motie me nnɛ me main topic na about J.J RAWLINGS munim na ho nsɛm bi bebree ɛkyɛ me ai enti ne program no me ne mo na eba baye wa ufiri se me mfa sabio link no kura nto ho na be join na ye nkasa mfa adwuma RAWLINGS baye na Ghana awudi obedi ye nipa obese won nkoso obetwe sign na chi wa ufiri bia na utimi ema me ya we me ma link no be join na me na no nyina akaja ye dai agum na yakasa afa ye papa RAWLINGS ho ene na ye me last topic ya me ye no wi a na se ye wi until mesra wa say wow hemi bi a ufiri say you want to participate in this topic concerning J.J RAWLINGS utumi emama masote na me the link no atoma me fa link nto ansa me fa link we a me de ato hoyi so onyuma nyoma so a edo obeba studio ha na me do ato platform no so na so abeka die unim afa RAWLINGS because Jinapo can assembly or parliament. And I said no can a man for a channel. A man for can the omunim. And this if I shall say damage control. Say Rawlings or you would for Rawlings. When Kumobia Rawlings or your angel. Yankopon fan currency over bio. But Papa ni Udini. Onye oli Udini or Sansoyo or say for or none the best say Ghana man. Enti meka ho asem pa. Meka ho asem. Enipa okum won. Kwanye ofa asukun won. Amamfo nyuma ogu no. Asikafo a no mo nya gyina brɛ wɔ Ghana man mu a papa wei edi ani brɛ. Ɛyɛ dɛn. Ɛsɛ wɔ nyuma. Ekunkum asikafo binom ma bebre so dwane kora akɔtena akɔdivoa. Bebre dwane firi Ghana akɔtena ba fufuro. Yɛbɛka saa asɛm no nyina. But wo a wo hwɛ me a wo believe sɛ wo a lot concerning Rawlings how person meka no link na me dey ato no opa oba me mo bi ehu wanim obetumi aye uncovered or covered na why dey na wakasa enti link na me dey ato ho wo ofili bia no utumi join na ye the Rawlings ne nsem no aye dey aba but before I eba ho no Mike Vanofori me chiapa na yimi apanyine we so kofi won so me chia before answer na eba ho no Sam George. Oye kwasi ampanyi nipa. Oye trofo na braba ni kohwini azan. Akwani Nigeria ni ampa o. Sam George Nigeria ni ampa pa. Mame Nana Akuya Afro mi wakwaba. Sam George Nigeria ni pa. 419 ni pa. Pure 419 person. To say enough for any omote ebensu. Ebi any Sam George. Na dia ane yeme ya. Abusha maninka utimo say Rawlings asem no yebeba so. I just want to clear the situation now. Me yi Sam George a free. They are called Rawlings so. You call Rawlings so. A honey a fire. And utumi friend now so a fire. Utumi ekreke link na wa be join na wa fire. Because Rawlings asem no. Bebre amu ha a mo hwe me sesi bebre mu won sem bebre fa Rawlings ho a e bia memenim. Because mu bebre empanfo. Mu bebre Rawlings be di Ghana konwa so na mo nyi dada na mo ni afiri. Enye de mo kan ena mo nim na mom no de mo ankasa mo di mo ni hu ye ena mo nim enti mesere se bo modena se wo firi so be join na link na ho tumi join ha amin pini link no na obi bi ofiri bia no utumi kreke na wa join na eni unyina na enimu nyina yakabom near the sa episode we yaba enti mamin link no to ho mamin link no to na wa person join no what to me yes link no ena ma pini ato ho no also pa to me join na yakasa fa Rawlings someone awudie ekum Ajuma obese no Ghana yebeka ni na ho asem na abusha. Let's go back to Sam Kwasi Ampanyi George. Say yekese Sam George Nigeria ni a. Say me gidi pa as Sam George Nigeria ni. Oya azani pa. Oya nkontompo ni pa. Because me abra na yewura na adodanko akufo adotia konwam. Ai Nana adodankwa Akufo-Addo ote akonwam. Sam George ene Samuel Oku ejeto brakwa. Eyo mo ho se asem bia Nanado ene na aban de be ba bonten so mo pese omonye no, they will damage the image of the initiative that they are bringing. Ya mama Janeta Freeman me mo kwa papa. Adwuma bia na do ne na aban ye so mo pese omonye. Na emfa nkoso ne nkanko emra oman num no. Sam George ene okuja tabra kwa epe kwam bi so edie den essay sa initiative ni din kire Ghana for ansana omoba beye na ya say uti opposition na ensema enyuma wo opponent ye na aban mu o ka say nya enka me de minimum ne say ubedi akonwa na unya tumi no a unya akwanya na enka wo ye de wodwene say ye papa na enye de na wo opponent ne ya na wo de na to tan kuruwa mu na wo sane ho wo di na tem wo di ni mo your form wo kan ye ope o de kire no me de me say nye no na wo ba beye because say asem na nipa ne ka no adwene na eda ne tim initiative no pese onye no se wo se enye na wo mpese enya de pase wo se onya adenti a wo nso no nya akwanya na obetena akonya abadwa no so a wo ye dey wo copy the same thing na wo ye adenti a SKB TV me am akwaba abusiamfo kali TV eyo SKB TV no channel enti mesre wa wo ha bia no na wabo modena se obe subscribe e wo sa channel no so watwe ne comment ne wo ha yi e wo ase o pa say good evening to everyone e friend Kali KALI TV utimi e follow utimi e click no e check no YouTube na wako YouTube na wako subscribe yo ye nya some little issues binti I think say said the TBA no we are trying to make sure say the channel no be my but meanwhile no mesem asem mo than am subscribe sa channel we na ye mo ye wiana na de si nra de na nya de fakora de si nra de ya ma ye shock sa akora ma misan kora asuro ya asemo be ye adwumaden we nyina na one day one tabon ya si untunye we but ye wari shemu but meso se wo hwem ya Kali TV eye SKB TV ni new channel enti mesro se pomada na hwehwe no YouTube na ko subscribe na nyuma adoma no so se de be ya because I say onuru numbers bi as na watinya your life enti besre mo pa se momo ayen na SK the channel no enti nsan mera back na yenye adwuma na mensan so asro sabra hwehwe no nyina no na all like video no mame se de be ya video no betumi akọ anim said yes sir na efata mi be masema na menoka se meneu ya ade ana se wo ye bibi na me be gira nche na me criticize se enya de papa ya de fun ye krono ye kankan ne proye na wo ya was se me nya akwanya begina wugina bere na wugina mu na nyansa kwan mu nokure kan mu nokure mu nimdie kwan so no me nya akwanya saa nyama na wo ya na me kasa fa ho na me safa ho na me gu ani ma safa ho no me ba me nye an ti se de wo fufuo na wo so pe empotompoto kwan amame na me si eye nkwamfo eye nkwanya enye de ani fufuo nko me edenti a wo ye nipa bone na me mankasa me kotra se me ko fufuo amame ho a na me so ma hya ase mpotompoto ebere na wate ase we na kira o se Sam kwasi ampanyini Nigeria ni Sam George eye Nigeria ni 419 nipa Sam George ni kuja tabra kwa adi Ghana fo hwamopa Sam George oni okujata abrakwa omo aka kire Ghana fo nyina se ye tipo nkosofo Mama Elizabeth Chan mo akwaba oman me mo akwaba pa Sam George no okujata abrakwa adi di Ghana fo nyina atem se ye tipo nkosofo ye nimu nyansa yemfa yadwene enwene enhu bibi se eye papa anase ye bone na mbom no ye jimia to the point said the obi beka na yedi akire yan okujata abrakwa ne Sam George do moda do asema omo aka kire Ghana fo no okujata abrakwa ne Sam George edidi Ghana fo nyina atem okujata abrakwa ne Sam George edi Ghana fo enkwada ne mpanfo ne maamefo ne papafo a school fo nyina omo de omo anim atwitwi fom Uwe bisa sa RAZ na di nti a wo kasa. Minua be ma wo hweme a wo tie me. Ene ma na do dan kwa kufu ado na ba de a kire ye. Say ye Ghana card. Say ye yenka na say school we can say school feeding program. Say ye teacher training allowance. Che say initiatives ne niema juma papa na papa na ye ni nyina no NDC enkwase afom ye no wei etimi begina Ghana fo anim ka kire ye se ehun hia eye nkwase adwuma eye krono omo de pesika na awia de omo ye ne mfaso ni so ye de kom de ye no ye de kom de ya wo sim card kom de ye no kom de ya na wo se Ghana card kom de ye no ye ka se kom de ye na wo se ye nkwa den yenkoye digital passport Khalif Jabe me mo akwa papa Rexford Danso as if we the first time watching you're welcome platform obey to me I still relax no near another about Juma Panti you're welcome to the channel enyuma hodo anana do ye nyina NDC Sam George no kujata abrakwa kama yete ye ho asese eye nkontomposem na abusuande na aba di aba ne se Sam George no kujata abrakwa nkwa na ye nipa bia animguase fede omuni bi a omutumiti ntasiro to fom na omo ankasa san den akoto hode omo tekirema asan fa ntasiro no amene agu omo yam ai yate de ekoso the SCC of parliament ne from the vetting time emepemene okujata abrakwa ne Sam George animaguase now there is more coming. What is more coming they say ene okujata abrakwa ababonte abeka asem wetio okujata abrakwa na all country Ghana fo nyina se na nado danko akufo ade MPP amanyoku omo ya kromfo no at point in black okujata Sam George and some all can etie
they paid more than me but I paid we were living in a political
tio Sam George but I'm not to opposition. No, sina nado danko akufo ado aban NMPP amanyoko no omo ya kromfo ohun akromfo omo te na nado ene Dr. Baumia omo amamu ohun bida o se ohun bida omo ya kromfo omo wiaga na sika nyina momenta tawon yenchi wontum yenkosesa gold mfiri ha yenye sebra okujata abrakwa kwase mpanyine Sam George ene obedi tumi no washase eye damage control mi yamanko ba bi onene won sem kafa Lawrence ho pa we first topic we are Lawrence so dey
you know we're living in a political bubble where we blame politicians for being corrupt, but politicians are corrupt because of the people that we lead, because the Ghanaian people are innately corrupt. The average Ghanaian is extremely corrupt and has absolutely lost their moral fiber. And politicians are a reflection, we're a microcosm of the larger community. We're a reflection of the community and the people that we lead. So if you are, for example, a party executive who's sworn an oath to do party work, and part of your party work is to elect a leader for your party in your constituency, but you are deciding to give a bill to a person who is competent to pay before you would elect them, he would have to find the money. He doesn't have the money, so he'll go to business interest and go and take the money from a businessman and come and pay to get elected. But when he gets elected and he's put in an executive position as a minister or a deputy minister and has to award a contract, don't forget that the business interest to give him the money is not Father Christmas. Even Santa Claus, you have to perform, be a good boy before he will give you a gift. So you do something before you get it. So that person gave you money for a reason. He's going to come back and come and take it in an inflated contract. And then you turn around and say that that minister is corrupt. Why is he corrupt? He's not corrupt. He's only paying for the money he advanced to you. It's a loan he gave to you. He's paying it back using your taxes. So the problem of our country is the fact that every facet of our life is saddled with corruption, even outside of politics. Because your DJs, I'm not saying multimedia, but DJs across board. Somebody is an up and coming artist, that song, play payola. If you don't pay payola, they won't play your song. You go to a hospital, you have to go and get your file. The person is sick and dying, give the person his file. Unless you put 5 CD or 10 CD in the thing, your file will not come out. You go to a parking lot, you want to park, security man who is paid to do his job. Unless you give him 2 CDs, you won't get a place to park. Imagine that person is now a minister.
So did you have to do that to also get elected?
Are you asking me if I've ever paid money to people when I'm going to get elected?
In fact, obviously, that's what you're trying to say. I mean, you're justifying it.
No, Nanka. How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? I paid. They paid more than me, but I paid. I paid less than them, but still I won.
Assembly, yeah, already Uncle for Sam George. I was saying send a video no be. Would it video no be? Tio. Sam George or no number 120 say I'm people man you kono yakron for no and power comes into his hand and now he's doing damage control.
Living in a political bubble where we blame politicians for being corrupt. But politicians are corrupt because of the people that we lead. Because the Ghanaian people are innately corrupt. The average Ghanaian is extremely corrupt and has absolutely lost their moral fiber. And politicians are a reflection, we're a microcosm of the larger community. We're a reflection of the community and the people that we lead. So if you are, for example, a party executive who's sworn an oath to do party work, and part of your party work is to elect a leader for your party in your constituency, but you are deciding to give a bill to a person who is competent to pay before you would elect them, he would have to find the money. He doesn't have the money, so he'll go to business interest and go and take the money from a businessman and come and pay to get elected. But when he gets elected and he's put in an executive position as a minister or a deputy minister and has to award a contract, don't forget that the business interest to give him the money is not Father Christmas. Even Santa Claus, you have to perform, be a good boy before he will give you a gift. So you do something before you get it. So that person gave you money for a reason. He's going to come back and come and take it in an inflated contract. And then you turn around and say that that minister is corrupt. Why is he corrupt? He's not corrupt. He's only paying for the money he advanced to you. It's a loan he gave to you. He's paying it back using your taxes. So the problem of our country is the fact that every facet of our life is saddled with corruption, even outside of politics. Because your DJs, I'm not saying multimedia, but DJs across board. Somebody is an up and coming artist, that song, play payola. If you don't pay payola, they won't play your song. You go to a hospital, you have to go and get your file. The person is sick and dying, give the person his file. Unless you put 5 CD or 10 CD in the thing, your file will not come out. You go to a parking lot, you want to park, security man who is paid to do his job. Unless you give him 2 CDs, you won't get a place to park. Imagine that person is now a minister.
So did you have to do that to also get elected?
Are you asking me if I've ever paid money to people when I'm going to get elected?
In fact, obviously, that's what you're trying to say. I mean, you're justifying it.
No, Nanka. How did you think I didn't? You think I'll sit here and tell you I didn't pay? I paid. They paid more than me, but I paid. I paid less than them, but still I won.
Say yo, sir. Your crusader. Enipa no ono na ekoma ahiafo no ai enipa no say MPP amanyo ko ye kromfo no ene de Osigana for ankasa na moya kromfo. Oh, this word is very funny. So what must say? And tell me, Sam George said, Nadia, Ghana for mo ankasa na moya de moya kromfo, enye ne fort, se wabokro no, e de enye sika. Na ya covet na ya kobisa na wanka, enye se ka na onka o. Ka de onka because mo Ghana for mo na moya kromfo. And also ye because said the wuti wufi a ye kromfo no. Ono so na dwuma mo ye kromfo. And you don't need to blame him. Or say what? You don't need to blame him because say you blame no ye. Because one kasa o say one kasa wo die mo nkituom no. Wo so obokro no. Nti ono so obokro no a na ya ache no vetting committee mu a enya dem no because society na ye team no ye yare ne say ye be obi a ye jiska. Society na ye team no bia ni ho yo bibi se oyo de amane apaja wo bia yo jiska nti so no so ene okwakopie mo parliament na wanya position e wa abani mu na odi ni juma odi because answer na wo beto abama no wo mo pie sika ma no o mani pie sika ma no na maybe Sam George senti Sam George kwase mpanyin Sam George Nigeria ni ba wa betra Ghana fo nkwasiafo binom benyo nipa ho research ben profile nipa na be sorry abedi nipa chi to say the Bible dam one we say Nigeria ni ordinary for one no aba be yihusuru ya wa be yihusuru ya o ai SK wa be yi Ghana fo suru ya na wasena be gina bontran kan kire mo say kronosem no etaremo ho eni nti ono so ye bi unity aboaje mame mo akwaba Joyce Nelson mo akwaba sanso na Michael Umbet na ma so akwaba pa chese ya trase ama Nigeria ni firi ni krom aba traga na mani abaye for 19 ya sane kan kwase asem kire yen e ka kire mu ye ka kire mu se nkrofo we sa part we excuse my language ujoni part we ya aboa we jimini because omonankasa no they don't give value to their people who are support to NDC no the NDC leadership believes say you are a fool and they know say wono broken heart eni mu ombetumi adi ntre wo wiase nyina akyerew at the end of the day omoba na ombe ka kyerew say na ye di ntro na kyerew a still ano ote ho say we NDC ni enti unye enye problem and this need to make katana ni di ntro kyerew ne supporters kama ne supporters ahomka ba omumu etimi tugu ka kwan so ekoye dede say omo anwe ne aba ama aban bi agi afiri omo nsam ye de tape ba bonten ba bi omo ankasa omo secretary Johnson Asidum katia ka kire say ye mamko abonten se munko edede kwa na ye ne number korapo no ye nim vote do ye nya ne saafe no aba beto ye ntimi anka ne ye de still na NDC supporters say budget so ye awurade nyankopon se mo hu ye awie na meni kakari TV SK ye tu ye hu si ho na me comfort books no mo akwaba say ye bo hu da wura ka kire mo se munti na nkrofo ye omo ye danger akromfo omo nye ni papa omo mpe wuye di omo bedi enti omo ba no ye ka na mo se mo nte ase enne dia bisi no se hu se Sam George bokro no e wo Minister of Information department ho a o se enye ne fault because wo Ghana ni no wo ye kromfo nti wo kro no na wo bo no ebi na woni mu enti janama no mokro no ye koya na ba ye koye anase ba maybe some say ye call ye anase by now edruba bi anasem no ye mewo because oh my Ghana no enipa na omuwo mu no ye tu kwan kwa abrochiri amanone oman ahodo so a we are highly respected because of our posture, our conduct. Kwan ye fa so eye adwuma, kwan ye fa so wo adwuma, kwan ye fa so yenya interrelation with people. But ye sign kon e kotran ye kuro no mu a, ye tie kuro no mu a, ne ye gya ye ho, ne ye man kwasiafo e de ya adwene e bob totals. Oh dear say, after we call Nanado a thief, after we call Nanado a galamsey dealer, after we call Nanado cleaning agent, no, enkrofo we betra akonya so 1 month nyamaye cleaning agent ye yenya no eye John Dramani Mahama enkrofo we betra akonya so nipa ye hu se sa omo ya kromfo a omo asesa Ghana nsa asene Ghana japade nyina acha afa eye NDC fo enra me bo video no kire wa enkrofo we betra asa e betra akonya so 1 month nyamaye abanya yahu se oye insensitive na onwene sabio ahiafo ne mobro wa omo pa akwanya asua nwoma yahu se ye NDC fo abanwo ibetra akonya so within 1 month yahu se garamse ashase ekoso dendende ai ne de po eye government appointees MPs yankasa ena omo to omo ho omo guwuram omo ye garamse okwa ebe bo otu akun. Yes, me and Wilson I no krepa. Eske nya program into pa check Kakari TV. Na wa subscribe. Kakari TV. O hia e wo Facebook, e wo YouTube obenya no. Obusia ye di ye ho abro. Garamse yesina na ado ni fie chebi ye tu garamse ho. Yesina na ado ankasa ye garamse. Ene galamsey NDC for eye owners of galamsey. And now me no can say one awaji galamsey aboso by evidence. By evidence ya. Enye se me na mabo mi tima America. Na ya se me eda ho ye nyina yenim. Eye NDC fo. Enti entro na ombedi kire yen. Nsem na omo be kan ye no. Aye jitu me koto abama omo na fa so ben ene wo so. Abusia mesle wa se oba na wa like video no. Na wa share so ama me kama pa na ye koyanim. Na sisi ya me de link bi ato ya me de link bi apin abo me video na se SKB TV ni new channel no utime kreke so na akọ subscribe say dey be ya obey updated. Yes sa link we Kakari TV na SKB TV intime so say link kreke so na koye den ko join no na koboa no na yentumi ye den yentumi nye den emmelde back the channel mesrewa ukonso na abo moda na wa like video na odi ato ho no ya sha ase ya build that page for SKB TV mesrewa pe omia omo beto onyum kire se omo ya agenkwa omo ye angels omo na omo be ba ma ye ho atoye no eneti ti nsema mo ka kire ye no ye twa na nado adapa ye twa na nado adapa de nti twa na nado adapa ye se na nado emma nkora aduane ni wo school maternity ye obi ka
mo gigi skana na mo de akofa provisions agogo mu store mu ofie na aban bre na ni sika ye hia de ya adepa na ye nya me say wo nursing training college wo teacher training college Haruna Idrisu say aban fidi obi abiem koji loan o se anu nti wonti ase agya school no obi ampa obi achew masa so wonti ase akodokoku ho the way is your front e kwan de dawani no free school ho obi kratifie pe school ni mu aba wenye sika akoto perfume gugu ho wenye sika akoto pons twiwanim u change draws every week o person na say fe da bia no watwa skirt no yensa ma oduane ndi o bodam call provision stop no store na wo fusu no kona ka choma me say onyi kinsop miensa onyi geisha miensa onyi Cerelac mienu on ma gari olonka 10 na onyi wa shop na for school bedi na ji alawa ka ho mo pe free dodo na wona wote wona also be so school me sama oduane ndi me na me ka se bra school when who colleagues are oboko kosun adwuma when who colleagues are oboko ekosun adepam when who girlfriends almost call some kosun o boyfriends some kosun mechanic ade na ngwango ye no so why why so be so to school so dia pe waduane a obedi aban be ma loan koji loan no bedidi san kwase ansoso no yasoso boso na motigana na jimi enyansafo na omo mu no omo be din agi loan no a certify omo agi certificate akwa adwuma e wo GGMC akwa adwuma e wo eye Bank of Ghana Hospital chip compounds no aban ba be ni nyina aban betua nurses ka so wuntumi entwen enko school ninji loan na the way is your front kokurom mo bodam mo MPP for ejimi mo for 8 years mo enya adwuma anye mo tititi school obi apa abrochira ko because hospital bi eni obe adwuma wo aban bi aba o say hey na tetene enyire ni so ko boarding school wo de waduane ko ade na sia mo pese mo de waduane be ko mo ana bibi ya mo nursing training colleges omo nyina high dan omo nte campus mpo ubehu nursery no high chamber hall no otikurom onte campus o obekọ otibema so ye man chop money anopa chop money ewia obekọ teacher training ni ba okono oposan kwan ama taxi driver ice wa bodam
yes etiabusia abato na ekoto ensunsun sanso ne phobia member mi mo akwa bapa ya mo akwa ba phobia abato na ekoto ensunsun sanso ne ye di mo atem abato na mokoto ensunsun sanso ne se na dia mo ye moa ma bobo dam mu ni mu nyansa mo ye nkwasiafo mo nko mo maame no papa no na mo musika koto dia ne ai chese asem na ya all because ye kotie nkwasiafo bi no nsem a na omo ka kire yen yenya ason de tie nsem a na mfaso ne adwene bi ani so enene omo aba ena omo ba be di omo mere enene omo aba na omo be sepa omo ho ye de wo ye de wo daachi eso ne mfaso omo wo wonti nkwase asem akwa wo ye ka kire ya mo wo ye se be ma obosia na bosia na be ma na so mfa garanta mra na wotie no wo garanta nka animie na me yakua nya akwa akwa ba se na bra akwasi me nsa mo akwa ba pa wotie no obusu mu wo garanta obetuma ko jina garanti ama wa nka animie yese by force kosua trebo kosua enioma pam ene ne fatao eni kwanse one omoma no ko school oni omoma no compete in any level we aboa wajimi yede nkwasiafo na petumi enti wo sore na wodi nkwasia party wo yachi a na wonyare se wo sore na wo dware ebo ho powder etu ho esi wo ka kire Ghana for se wo ya ndisi ni a na wo hiani bate se me ameti ha ya yade ni utim adwene bi wo tim hwe atema ye didi mo ne ye di mo atem nanado a oye ahumobro ni odi na ohwe Ghana so a na oboa mo no yesi wajeje mo so ma mu agimi ai na anya bia papa ojeje ne ba so oye papa ope ne ba asem anasa otan ne ba so na nado de na nado e wicked and PP4 evil and the one mu jejereje enya where sim so no there he is happy with the cancellation of the allowance mo beti mo piga sabuzu mu nso nyansa mo beti mo piga mo de munni nkwasiafo na chi NDC fo no munni omo achi muntu wo nhire mo enyomo omo ba na omo bo nyom prere to prere na mo sadi achi na mo bu mu pa ai mo pa na obubu pa so a ubenya udifo mudifo na aba no John Mahama wani ni nkrofo omo be di mu yie listen to me well. I'm not intending on the sexual act ububu pa too much a unya udifo na wa ye ho adwuma mo enti ye kanya ansasema kire mo no na prere to prere na ye mo de eyezu eyeza nkwase asema na edi akire ena na ye mo de ye ka kire mo se ye di solar panel eba ma mo ho atomo no mo se mo mpe no eyezu na mo pe ye ka kire mo se ye be ma tertiary institutions na ye institutions a ebenya de ohia bia kandie bia na mo timo ye mo adwuma ye no mo se mo mpe no prr to prr na mo pe because aduane papa ni school ene de ye se aduane no ye mamu bibiem na monya bia di fa utikobo dan mu ai o yare wo tiko school ye sanso ma usika se fato aduane di ai ko school ye sanso ma usika se je fato ho eye achiwade ye nye ne sa akware na eka no we yasoma no ba be ka kire wo enye ono ankase nanum asem ye de asem na soma so me ka kire wo enti mu na esefo na mo se mo nkonkoto aba mo nkopa adwuma ma obi maame obi papa no ene nyi obi papa nso na be ma musika de ato mo bottom enyi obi papa ene be ma musika de ato aduane adi enyi obi papa na be to aduane ma mo adi enyi obi papa ene be tua mu school mo light ya mo yusu ensu amonom ene ne ma nema e wo hore nyi obi papa na be tua ma mo okoda obedwene ho ye jimi ade na da mo nche ya mo se mo mpe ade se ye fa koto twere ansana wani abedi akire amachi dede onipa da sanie ade da ne ho a ose yompe ade se ye koto twere ansana na ni bedi akire tabi beba mo no akai no babi beba mo akai no yes dabi beba ama mo akai na nado dankwa akufo ado ene Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia edana bawie ai dana mo de be kai na nado ne Dr. Bawumia mo djuma pa mo be ye nimdie ene ahomobra na mo wo mama no abawie samate ene de yese mo ye mmoa mudidi adedi abudidi mama ba da mo akwa wa president ena mama Elizabeth Echan so mo akwa wa abusia for me say mo men like video no ya mo men mo like no so yes ena ye apani e kan ebinom say they have corrected the alawa but they will not vote so magia alawa no betimento okay man konkoto ene ye twam ene wa ujejireje ene eden ye twam eno ene wodien ujejireje suenyansa na fa bitu tim next 4 years edura udi America na bakwa hwe me papa Bawumia na ti akwan na wode wonsa kosi na nim so mera medi uso so mo wie ye ene de podi ye di mo atem o ye di mo atem na hwe de nti ama medwene se udi NDC achi a wo ya aboa wonimu nyansa ne se ya to aba na wi omo adi nkonim na tumi ni nyina bedi omo nsam no omo gusu ko omo ho hwe
much incident.
So, and to one who say, my mother tabacco of one who so, no money at you, Omo, what I do know. If you see a man in ministerial position, obviously, why MP, a man in ministerial position, you know, the support a set to a good one or more say, Babia. Into your mind, mappa. Now could be a man you could say, cheer. Not dear, how I didn't bend a doubt. What do I can see saying? Nene, ye be bo omuli dano. Aye. Omuli dano kofa bayano, ye be bonechi. Unfanchem. Ye banya beden, ye be bonechi momenti nsem. A wood dear, a coon, and an asifo. Into your mind. Near see a democracy for a democratic republic. And a wine, not what the Uko support to party be at say we yet here. Then what do you think that you get? What are you expecting from them? They are no being from Dear Omodibia am opinion. Hey, training allowance, and your first time I and this for a tremor be. This is the second time. MPP for bar, near the aba, na moto about Tiano, almost I'm bar, no more be trim, na moto home, na Jimmy. Aban Sikano, a yen idea, and to say a TB the mouth be only be more bro 1 year, and your bonnet, a brochida hobaya, ubahaya, ye sponsor and here for more musu to me than elevate your more life. And this open song go school. Now abusua for any school where school and this if amanyo ko say won any kwan so ko school won sem fata so be ko school because we abusua for ehia for man ko school man ye ka kire mo say nkrofo school no mu kire o school no mu kire the sitting vice president maami ankawo sebi obaba siade nke nim se maami owo eyanka ne se ahumabro de man nipa maami tim begina bonten ka se mo Ghana for se ono de ohunu se school so agigi din no eni kwan se hiafo makobi yenkotia ese ono no wato dan e wo cantonment asase so enotim omo abokro no na onya ma aba mu kro ekromfo na no ye vice president odwino wo na obedwino oye campaign na oye no contribution no chop no ka ho bi wo contribute ye wo du sika ko ye campaign e business o sa ankrofo we no to them amammo ne ye business o enye serving your people and Sam George can chiro no. Yes. And this all to a bar, now what to a papa. Now, Abusia, let's go towards Sam George. One where I mean, what I said, delay allowances is better. Yes, delay allowances is better than cancel allowances because Anya a bar, a bum balk the mouth. It really was swimming and Sunday ebrew. Was swimming no the ebrew. Now, Kitashikam. We will be a 1 year till 2 minutes to where you near market. Now, and this if for non person ni padas and new beko and more tom. And there is the digitalization and buy a so could document in Chinam, any mako. The presidential candidate in a noon free by you. Or see the way could dim a coin in Chinam, ne document, and then a here we are bound in Munyansa. And two so now depart to a chair. Now one can say be how. Now what? Now there is something wrong with your mindset. Because omuye socialist political party on the paper, but on the reality, omuye dictators. Tisa omu founder Rawlings. Omu anka say be omu bedi mo omu fuabo and omu di actually. So munye be near. They can even kill everybody in the country. kronon ketenkete ewo society no ho ewo aban no mu e na omo de survival na abusia retie yanto aso menim se mo kai video we ya the Stubborn Academy some kai we moment here
I'll get to attend to the Stubborn Academy. We don't go do no registration. Stubborn Academy.
Yeah. I think that you people, you all remember this scene. Arimi Yahu Isaac Mwakwawa. Same when you can see video way. Stubborn Academy. We know go register our SIM card. And Samukai pa. Me bow. Me pa. Samukai. Bra information minister de in Shishebi ba say Ghana maimu phones adults SIM card adults Dr. Bawumia Dauroma ya ye Ghana identity card bia sa identity card no eye authentic a ehu behia say o koto chip a ye mfa connect ne ehu nipa or use sa chip or use sa SIM no enti mraba say wa ukita SIM a otoye na ye nyanya Ghana card no sign fa kona ye mfa connect ema o SIM card o ye connect ema o Ghana card awudifo sa ko gina we 419 ni we Sam George Ghana fo nyina na yate aseso in Nigeria ni one ne nkrofo binum to omo hu si ho say they will do everything to avoid Ghanaians going there to register their SIM card or connecting their SIM card to what? To the Ghana card. In fact, I don't want to play the videos of the CC yet. You will say, wait to me, but more than see, don't get yanum yina, at your mano tomb. A bomb more than my Ghana for Blum Suji tomb. Or monko register SIM card that. Or monko register SIM card that. And Copem say, Ebedru say we are crossing. We will not. We have up to another 24 hours. And actually, NDC form the piano. So Jimmy, Jimmy, Oma Odan action. And this is for there be a re-registration into a monko. In fact, eka one day na your registration period na we no NDC for to kogu re-registration center say wom. Eka last day Eka last day na sabi ya finish the registration re-registration of SIM card to our Ghana card no. And I'm saying Ghana for binum de omo adwene ne omo nimdie nyina ama NDC for ntino. And I'm sure NDC for at the end of the day, they found themselves in a situation whereby they cannot register their what them call their SIM cards anymore because the time was not there for them. This is because abandon mleba say the be kro man na ma amanfo obi aho atono no na ye wo the national records so a almost the omunimu ye ne say omobetwe the ideas no akonachi omobe de ombetumi aye na the aban ne pese oyin no entumi maso na omonfo ansi ho Dr. Bawe ka kire yen say the enti ode Ghana card yen so nim say Ghana card no eye document bi a kwan omofa aso ye enti no amakrata no ewo sole identity a eno ne betumi guarantee say enipa bi o de sa card mo kwa re-registration no oye well verified and authentified. Sam George Babonte beka asemoti.
We have maintained that the Parliament of Ghana has passed only one legislation for the registration of SIM cards. That legislation is LI 2006, which is known as the Subscriber Identity Model Registration Regulations. It remains a wonder and worry why the minister will want to abandon LI 2006, which is specific to SIM registration, and rely on another legislative instrument, LI 2111. LI 2006, which is specifically for the creation of a national identification register, cannot be used as the enabling law for SIM registration in Ghana. It defies simple logic and any technical explanation. Let us be clear. When Parliament passes specific legislative instruments, these legislative instruments are not omnibus laws. They are specific legislations that have specific use and so cannot be taken for. So, for example, you cannot take an LI for DVLA's operations and apply same to the operations of SNIT or the Bank of Ghana. Now let us explain what LI 2006 says in section 2. And I read, a network operator or service operator shall register a subscriber identity model, SIM, of a subscriber. It goes on to say that the registration must provide, the registrant must provide to the network operator. The things it asks the registrant to provide are the date of birth in the case of an individual, the date of incorporation in the case of a body corporate or company, the date of registration in the case of a partnership or unincorporated body of persons, and to show an identification document. This is what the law says. The law does not end there. In section 10 of that LI, it defines what an identification document is. And this is what it says. It gives 6 definitions for identification document. 1, a valid driver's license. 2, a valid national health insurance identification card. 3, a valid Ghanaian passport. 4, a valid Ghanaian voter's identification card. 5, a valid national identity card, or what we call the Ghana card. Or 6, any other valid form of identification document the minister may determine by publication in the Gazette. For the avoidance of any doubt, the 6 document types that have been stated in the law are acceptable for registration of SIM cards per the legislative instrument of Parliament. Only one of these cards can no longer be used by virtue of the court's ruling in the Abu Ramadan versus Electoral Commission case, which said that the national health insurance card is not a valid determinant of Ghanaian citizenship. However, a Ghanaian driver's license, a passport, a voter's ID card, or a national ID card, which we call the Ghana card, are legal and acceptable identification documents passed into law by the Parliament of Ghana. We are asking why the Minister for Communications and Digitalizations, through the NCA, is avoiding the use of the other 3 documents and insisting that we must use only the Ghana card. Ghana is governed by laws, and the respect for our laws and the respect for Parliament, which the Minister is a member of, is sacrosanct.
Yeah, CK or say at Japan, and more crab, and some mammy Kushia Yamicha more crab. I wish I saw more. Ha Sabre we move. Na papa, your friend, Sam George say, so far as Mradada be a session in 2006, actually say, you able to make the Ghana card, a voter's ID card, any other type of document, a registered SIM card. No. According to him, we have to remain the laws of 2006. And he said, "Aban be the initiative for be kuraba na." That guy says it doesn't make sense to apply on that clause. Now, dear Yana said, he named himself voters card. They were not authentified. Some of them were even issued to Nkura no munya 18 years. Ebinom nipa baako fo tumi nya voting card 4, 5, 6. Nipa baako fo nko a. Etimi se Togo fo ni aye voters registration card ama. And the intention behind the idea of the information minister was to make sure say we enhance, issuing of SIM card to the people through the Ghana card. And no more document there. A well programmed and well identified sort of document. But some judges on TSS, I not your position or to opposition. Say they will know. And Ghana Maimu, send this oppositioner. Everything is bad. Ghana man team no. Send this oppositioner. The Ebeko should be an bad. Ye a car quankro muso muhu come the one. Ye den kurama eko school krom say hu here. And during that time, some judge said it is bad. One fancy ho and obey away.
I'll get to attend to the academy. We don't want to do no registration. Stubborn academy.
Parliament
was done. That's the argument of the ministry, that some people use fraudulent national ID cards to register their SIM cards. That should not mean that all 32 million active SIM card holders in Ghana today, or all 32 million active SIM cards, the holders must go through a re-registration. Identify those whose cards are fraudulent, because you can do that using the Ghana card registration database, the NIA database. You can do that using the EC voter database. Do that using the SNITS database, and do that using the DVLA database. These are, and even the National Health Insurance, these are all biometric databases that we are synchronizing in the country. So you can do a cleanup of that data.
Yeah. Where, not some judge were oppositional. And when he was in opposition, the idea to connect SIM cards to the Ghana card there, a well authentic document, name was yasem. Ne nyansa nim, ne ye can say chrono, na nyansa bi anim, na ya sheda say a person Ghana for aso. But some judge benya kwanya ba power no, ti asem oka. Nkrofo mo ho esiro.
Many months later. Speaker, one of the key things that we need to do, which I stated emphatically during my vetting, was a proper SIM re-registration. And we
a proper SIM re-registration.
Don't need to do just a SIM re-registration. We need to do a central equipment identity register.
And which is which? Which is which? Obiana war opposition. Osi ehun hia. Eye krono, eye de bone. Adenti aye pese enye re-registration of Ghana card, of SIM card connected to Ghana card. Eye krono na abane pese omoye. Afi wo bedi akonya de a wo se de tie biem. Tie asem o kan ha.
One of the key things that we need to do, which I stated emphatically during my vetting, was a proper SIM re-registration. And we don't need to do just a SIM re-registration. We need to do a central equipment identity register.
So what? Enti nkrofo we ka kire mo say omoya kohifo udi wona chi a ubedi wona nim. Wote Ghana maemu na udi nsɛmfo mbɛka kire in opposition a chikoto abama wona, you are just wasting your time. Because brought to an okan kwasi asem we no. na on tiasie. How is it possible to synchronize Ghana card with SIM card? Non tiasie. So he came out to tell Ghanaians lies. Say Obi, Abain bi, Ghana Abain. Ghana Abain, Eya Abain Bone, Ompo Mani Ye, or dear fatty team, Yankodi lie so. But today, the same Kwasiam Panini is out there telling you, say, I don't know why I don't have the other video. There was another video where he was really saying, say, yeah, use Ghana card to make it. Or Ghana card could have put in it, but my video no. She said, as I'm not doing one, won't tiasie. So doing one, won't tiasie bonnie pen a Ghana for pa Yankopon dia na yankasa. Yankasa. Yetumi eden eyo ho boni sei. Boni ben ena Yankopon yede aye Yankopon timi hwe yen. Ema yedi e ho boni. Eye de nse ne de mfata. Egu ye nim ase. Yankasa ye ho boni. Odu want to say. Odu want to say. Yeah, I have the right video. Me person won't see video no here because asem na em won. Me do want to say. Say enipa da sani to me trase. Edin troche nipa ma nipa tumi gigi koto abama no. Na nipa le begina enya tumi na within shorter possible time. Otumi ba bontene. Ebegu ni ho anim ase. Na or act like he has done nothing wrong. Everything is perfect. Whatever he's saying is the right. Nipa ni nya yanka ni several na missing kano. Nipa ni mfiri se wadi amanfo hwamo. Nipa ni mfiri se nsem na o kano se bio ebe mana lose the credibility.
One of the key things that we need to do, which I stated emphatically during my vetting, was a proper SIM re-registration. And we don't need to do just a SIM re-registration. We need to do a central equipment identity register. Because, Mr. Speaker, today, if you complete a SIM re-registration and you even block the SIM, they can simply move to another phone and use that phone. But if you have a central equipment identity register and it is locked with the SIM card, Mr. Speaker, when we block the SIM, and most members know when the fraud is done, they are asked to pay money to a certain series of numbers. When you block the SIM card and you block the device as well, it makes it difficult for that person. It means for that person to perpetrate fraud again, they need to go and buy a new phone and do a new SIM registration. And once we block the SIM, we also have the Ghana card that was linked to that registration. That Ghana card is barred on all the networks from doing any new registration of SIM cards. Mr. Speaker, it's a tall order, but we are focused on doing this over the next 1 year, and I crave the indulgence of members of this House and this House as a whole to back the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations when we begin this process to clean up this space. Mr.
Yeah, and Tiabusia, so what? And that year, re-registration of SIM card connected to the Ghana card. Sam George, what do you say? Jimmy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, sir. Sajumana or Kano, and ye Ghana by Jumon. We scan or per real or per quine be so. I may a day. Ya locative found to him no where be because Sajumana or Kano a ye taliko sunajuma ukwana ukoye SIM card na ye de connected to your Ghana card asa That is the law that the government can impose. Say, you as Teleco, before you sell a card, a SIM card to any person, anybody in this country, make sure the person gives you an authentified identity card, identity document, either passport or Ghana card. And this is buying the mra way back. Not sabi uko register when you are, o same we are. Yeah, the same no could di bonia. It is no say, nipa we ne di bone. Sa person umroku nipa na, you can still track it and block the person. Mimi Anthony mwakwa wapa, ena Frank Kofi mwakwa wapa. Enya buying ajuma. The telecos, any the mobile what them call the telecos no, and I'm supposed to be the system be able say. So be your frauding. Now the number here frauding number they can block the person SIM card and they can block his phone too. And ya buying a juma. Some George, when I'm okay, say come the no. And you say come the your phone no more buy your pediani di your pension the document di. And yes, I got a card, and SIM card, and mobile phone card. And hey, Papa, you move them that one day and 2 minutes 3 minutes a day new. You 2 minutes breakfast, any lunch, any supper. Auntie Papa, on quasi assembly of the parliament one. Pa dream full before Brazil be a data so nebo ebe form. Jimmy, pe kwa obe fa so obe tunyama technology and the digitalization. Ebe ko schools no. Ama school for na asua technology and digitalization in a deeper manner. Sam George, on kwasi ade no, otro ne wo 419 na ona ma man no ma wo ye no. Yenye na party o. Krono na wo pa boro, we don't care about it. What we care. Huh? The yegre, the yegre, the hu hia yen. And say you come the yen. Yen this for. Ye paduane na di. Near this fraudulent ways and means of trying to create there now baba here. And they will not be phones. The government of Ghana new activity is to block a man for phone. The government of Ghana today, his mission is to block Ghanaians' phone. Obokrono ewobi ode phone number e block wo di bobi krono a Ghana ban adwuma no se wafato na ho so se ye be block phone. And now say Ghana o nkrofo mo yem pasiafo ye camp eduru ba bia me I don't want to be harsh guy. I don't want to be a harsh guy. But nkrofo wo tie nsem o mo kan de o mo ye na it becomes very difficult to be a cool guy and and civilized man in front of the microphone. Just I don't know. You the crazy na gumo. Say you the gas kakra fra no. Say you adwena no an yasandi ahye ha odwene ho awonte ase. Omo kasa so omo ano. Kwada omo fa so kasa say omo discover the killers of John Kennedy. Omo kasa I had said omo solve a kind of idea bia obi antumi solve. See ya na no kwase ampanyi we okuja to abra kwaso saa. Obetena ha ya onkanya nsasem menti a ade na Dr. Bawomi abohu dawuro ama yes see Dr. digitalization na hwan no okuja to abra kwaso betina the same foolishness and all the buy.
I would like to use technology to reform our passport regime. I don't think that we should still be requiring Ghanaians who have a Ghana card to go to passport office for their biometrics. This system of silo need to go to a passport application center if you have a Ghana card. We should be able to interface. It should be possible to sit at home, apply for your passport. And then also, I want
The recent over 400% increase in passport application fees has sparked.
Sabusion, Ajuma Wayana, Dr. Baumia, Bohu Daura, Bohun Dauro, Abohu Daura Kamwasa. These fools, because they have no sense, because they don't know what is about governance in Tino. And some that idea di who some a chum ya yako yanimno. And on and ababayo their target, the new things to do. Munyamwa. And in your chamo how you build the big roads overhead. A school for TVET STEM. We were creating ideas of new generation. Now, dada na, aye, mobile, dada na wadena. Ghana for yaye hubi abusia. Yeda so ewo haya. Message so ba na wa like video no. Na wa share edi amame na ye koya ni. Abusia, your next topic. Yeah, next what? Topic. Yeah, next topic. Now, you see.
One of the key things that we need to do.
Yeah, next topic. Now, you see, Abu Jinapo. Aka chere Rawlings bano se onka na no ntum na ne papa eye wudini yeah truly pa na asemwe ba abontre no matisa manfo e kasa na abugina po adenti okasa na medwene ho amenti ase topic ne se ha mu edepa se Ghana fire say yempemra yensua history yenkai de atoto ye wo man Ghana mu I had say nsem atoto ye ni na yewure firi yenkai enti nipa bia ba the open. Who is J.J RAWLINGS? First question. Why J.J RAWLINGS? Ebane se no benya dini ewo Ghana man. Ono ne hwan? Abrabo no boy. Dia be na obeye ni nyina ne ye be kasa fa ho na hwe dia kofa nsem ni nyina abanie na afenyo markings kasa but because we don't have the cameras towards where Senator Rawlings was sitting I can't see what Senator was doing but see asemuti
Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
Yes, abuja so wetia abra fanyo marking kasa no. Somebody spoke in the microphone. Our catcher Senator Rawlings said, our catcher Senator said, daughter of a murderer, sit down. And a man for second to manka or sit there be other say no credit. Say no credit papa akumunipa. Now, sa same when I mean bisa wogana ni ya be ma ohweme. Ni ya ba ohweme. Mpanfo e wo fie we mu an ya wo mpanfo wo mpa bebre e wo Any my back or sem a chairman pa. And inti me the link way air to her. Me the link way air to her. Say, wait to me, I can so upa no join and I can do him a far Rollins home at the actually. Say no Cressel Rollins, no you would dini. And no Cressel Rollins by or be say Ghana a Japadia. And no Cressel Rollins by or be say or mine Ghana in Nipa Buma no Monya. And no Cressel Rollins and I say Ghana for Kurajunama Ghana for to me and to Timmy. Sansa no. Who are washing the Kafa Rollins from the link and up to Obosso or Beba down. Opa when you move what voice in Kwana Beba. But now I'm talking. Into me opa usu to me join it through the link media to comment section box. Now me fa kwenya we so na maka kiro say so we comment section ho ma pin link bi abosoro ho. A YouTube link. Sa link no. A Union SKB TV ni new channel wa be. Mesla wo say bo modern na nyoma so na emfa wo channel no so. Na ko subscribe e wo channel no so. Na like video ba ko na odi ato ho no. Se de be ya ba wo san abeka SKB TV na busia kuo kese no ho. Na bibi nti no enya trouble kakra ewo ne channel dada no ho SKB TV no nje se na ye Kakari TV onyoma so na hu Kakari TV a SKB ne dia wetumi anyoma so na wa subscribe na waka abusian se de be ya wo nka achi abusian fo yanto aso ne nko yanim tie video na e be
Data evidence on the papa kulipa. Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Data evidence on the papa kulipa. Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
No. Sì.
Però quella che non ti piace, ti va bene lo stesso?
Abusian for yin na TV video na some omo kan ye. O say daughter of a murder. Sit down. You know san kan kire. E ka je sit down bi man kan so sit down bi adenti amenka. E na Christian papa komunipa. Asem obeto abontra man for say some Samuel Jinapo and a kai. In any case, Samuel Jinapo abontra say you no na kai. Yam friend on tonche and no hu hia. Let's go deep into this issue. Who was J.J RAWLINGS? RAWLINGS, when he came in politics first, and before he left politics, who was he? Ahusia asemno asemwe no. I was saying coming show we during daytime pananka. A man for to me joining me here. But in any case, we will do it. We will do it. We will do it well. We will do it very well. Yebeye manayefe. Yebeye nso manayefe. Program now saying coming here during daytime pananka enye fabekom so. Yeah, Abusianfo. We a short documentary about J.J RAWLINGS. Sad documentary you see RAWLINGS in different moments. What do you Yes, this was who we called RAWLINGS. All right, Papa we, my sojourning. Papa we, or say on TRCS, I can for especially Ghana. Na ye ka asikafo a eya kan for nko. Papa we ɔse ɔnte say Ashanti ene bonofo ɔmo stabilize wealthy ɔmo nya ɔmo ho ɔmo ade ɔmo ho ɛwɔ Ghana man no ɔnte ase papa woi ɔse na ɔnte ase sɛ liman in 1979 ɔse ɔnte ase sɛ die nti a liman na ɛwɔ so ni Ghana man so papa woi a ɔse ɔnte ase die nti a ɛwɔ sɛ Ghana fo Asantefo Akamfo Achemfo any other tribe no ɔmo the central of Ghana no ɔmo anya ɔmo ho enti papa wei ɛyɛ ku wɔ Ghana man mu wei yo papa wei ɔyɛ ku wɔ Ghana man mu na de ɔde gyina so ɔde yɛ ku ɛwɔ man no mu ne sɛ ɔse amanfo yɛ de corrupt akoromfo tachio amoa ɛna ɔmo agye Ghana man abɔso enti ɔnte ase enti ɔpɛsɛ ɔno ɛmra medi ɔman no so na ɔnyɛ den ɔmfa ɔman no ɛnkɔ gyinabrɛ ɔmfa ɔman no ɛnkɔ bɔhyɛ asase so wohwɛ so timu sɛ ne papa ɛyɛ Scottish ne maame na ɛyɛ Ghana ni enti ɔno ɔwɔ yi ɔnyɛ pure Ghanaian half Scottish. This man was born for a slave master and a warrior. Aye. Saman we may catch you ye 10 years. 10 years. Saman we ne maame ne papa anware ankotra fie baakum te sɛ ɔyere ɛne okunu fatuti Saman we ne papa ne maame ankotwe mpena ɛna ɔba efiri epie mu efiri baaye fatuti Saman we enye dobi na na ɛwɔ ne maame ne papa ntamu a yɛde wo no ɛna mɛka mo nsɛm paa saa papa we na enye dobi na na ɛwɔ ne maame ne papa ntamu a yɛde wo no Saman we is a son born out from violence, sexual violence, sexual violence, and yede nam so yede wo papa we. Ubisam said di entia. Let me explain to you. Abrofo na omo ba Ghana, the UK for na omo ye the last slaves masters omo ba Ghana man mu no. Kan say ye Ghana for ye nya ye independence in 1957. Rawlings we know what this 73 years in 2020. And listen to me very well. Papa we on nam way. The kwanya ye fa so aye wo no. Kwanya ye fa so ane papa ne maame ekoda ya. Kwanya ne maame ne papa fa so omo wo no. A crime. This man was born out of a crime scene. Sexual violence. Because soldier for no, UK for no, abrofo na omo betena Ghana man mu a na omo hwe yen so, omo di yen so, omo sisi yen, omo boye na po no. Bebre na mfa omo yire no mama. Bebre no omo nko a ne baaye. mentumi yi pictures bi nkyerɛ mo nka meyi bi akyerɛ mo wa hu ya na abandonment nti menyi. But so we are research by yourself, you will see how these white men, the UK men, were treating Ghanaians on our own land. Either you're a man or a woman. Until that time, no, it was not possible, say, a soldier man, or you can say, soldier near UK banner, you say, Omra no mehe Ghana so, Omume Yusuyen, Omume Slevuyen, or no ne Ghana ni ba tuntum betwem pena atena se te say pena you can say boyfriend and girlfriend. Ena sabre num no Ghana for man any Ghana for me man ankasa no, apart from the top hierarchies of politicians and all more man no, now they were even afraid of the white man. Fatu team. So there was no manner that they could be a lovely relation partner in terms of intimacy among Papa we ne Papa and ne mame. Papa we ne mame enyemye through sexual abuse, through sexual violation. Yeto ne mame mo na ye forso ne die na ye de wo papa we. So this man was born out of crime, and for consequently he was born with anger in him. Abushanfo me asem se de tesa na me kanu nyento na metwa kire wo. Wo de asem na me kanu. Just try to add your senses to it, and you understand me very well. Sakwa Papa we, Yankopon fa ne krense baby order. He was not from even empra yesi wako for afro. Enya ma ware minute fie na ya wo dabi. What be so sa dentia? Papa soja ni UK soja ni a wabaga na maimu a wawo ba na wo sori firi Ghana ekoja oba no ene ne maame nyina e wo Ghana maimu na one for one amachire biem. Have you ever heard about the father of J.J RAWLINGS? What is it? Yes, RAWLINGS ne papa picture ni. What is it? RAWLINGS wakwa ne papa nchen. What is it? RAWLINGS ne papa yesie no ha. What is it? RAWLINGS ekasa about his uncles, aunties from what? A P.M. No, damn. No, Carmen. What can you say here? Yeah. No, mescaricato. Aspetta. No. Ma bisogna fare un fancemina. Mi microphone no. Sa tiako. Iya ya sebo be se motime nkan yie pa. Se bo ma me sound na me hu se motime nkan yie. Mo ma mo sound pa na me hu se motime nkan yie. Ete busha sema America. J.J RAWLINGS was born from anger, and he became a man angry with the world because of say when he realized about his personal story. Utemi yepa. Bro no ankasa realize say kwan ye fa so aye wo no. Ba bia ye wo no. Circumstances enam so ye de wo no. Na nya depend no. The man was really angry with the whole world. Papa we so ante ase se asantefo anya omo ene wate ase de nti a wonte se ye ka Rawlings ne papa nie beda bia ka se Rawlings maame ye voter ni na ye hu ne pen ye nim ne pen. This is because Rawlings' mother was forced to have sex. So ne broni beda broni ne force no ne dae e na owo no amenka no kodo ne nkyerɛ. A force and a force no and a day a war Rawlings. The entire American on same way in our name. The entire American same way in our say, Papa, we what say nipa dear say a war kwanya emfata so automatically you become angry with the word. Now the every video way na mento asoncho the every video way.
Just an ordinary, hungry, screaming Ghanaian who wants to realize his creative potential, who wants to contribute.
Songs in praise of me, please. Sing it in praise of Ghana and Africa, the black man.
A government has the obligation, the moral responsibility to be seen to be fighting against corruption all the time. By virtue of what happened, or the revolt of 79, this government has become more proactive in fighting against corruption.
An unconstitutional act of a coup involves a...
Okay, Abusia, Masaya ba, my microphone in your trouble kakrenti amekoe. Yeah, papa muntie mi yepa. Papa we no ye broni owo Ghana man mu a oye sojani komode no. The white supremacy e woni mu kakra because ono na mo no hu ne ho say oye broni kakra. Into the white supremacy kakra abedi ne mu. Osanso ye sojani. Dien ena papa we ye. Papa we twin tuo. Ekum Ghana for. I'm not talking about minka judge for no ho asem o. Minka soldier for papa we ko mo ho asem o. Ordinary Ghanaians. Papa we kum nipa e de pay to me e betra Ghana konwa so. Papa we in the sense of me ku e de agyoman no because ebinom yawudifo abokro no anya omo ho. Adia wunti me ku agyoman na firi krono proyene kankan mu no papa we enam ne so nti Ghana fom painfo a asikafo akamfo titire asantefo temiyo asantefo a no mo abo mo ho modene akamfo na omo abra bogina omo nan so na madwuma dene omo aye na omo hwidiem akwawe nanabi papa say Rawlings emma na japade kese pa ahwere no very big tycoon businessman and nibrenti Rawlings yeden emma papa na japade ahwere no in the sense of I'm fighting just say we na the ARFC PNDC any NDC nyina no omo ya wudifo Evans and kama kufi mu akwa bapa omo ya wudifo. They are wicked murderers, assassinators, destroyers, men without crew. Yeah. Papa wait me to ni si ho in the name of I'm fighting for the poor. They said John Mahama na anu adai. Atwe tuo edi kum Ghana for atitire for. Na wa hwe se wote oman mu. Na ebi a wodo koko. Uye adwumaden. Obre. Uye adwuma tete wo widiem na na me no so nti watumi nya ntoma mienu ana ntoma miensa bi agu dan mu. Na me no santi ye ba wo fie abeche wa bro. Uti ya ne eja, uti ya ne yakun in the name of we have to be equal. I was saying that equal. Michael J. SK the channel no, the new channel no link na ma pin wo comment section hono. Into to me the ekreke so. No akọ join no. Abusia, we say in the name of I'm fighting for the poor. And I'm also na obi atumi bi ono ankasa ni provision store. Adwumaden a waye de aboabo asika no e de atuma bi store. Na wo se me ye den me banama ma wo ye nyina ba ba ye penti wo wanya wo ho. Me ba wo store mu a na ma chewa bro na ma sesa wo niema na me de kɔ me fie me de kɔ na me sojafo mpanyimfo akyecha fa amanfo companies akɛseɛ ARFC for asojafo na jeje amanfo companies twe boss so ne kunkum obinom ne kunkum binom ne afom wajapade obi so ayecho ye ba ne abro ne age wajapade ekitawo in the name of I'm fighting for the people. And so make just say rodents onye molder no boa rodents e wudi for pa nsem na mpamfo no nka ho but na me ba be titi niema nketinketi bi so akyerew me ba be ka kyerɛw de enti a rodents ma yeku saa judge for me ensa no me ba be yi so akyerew up to today Ghana mpamfo ya maju so mbo so mbeka na krema ni party ase sa ALFC for way omo adwuma na omo ye ne se Rawlings etete aku ahodo ehira sesa amanfo training won in every city eti adwuma na nkrofo we ye ne se they go across the city and see who is doing well why na brabo ekoso ye why na sabi wabo ne homodrema ni sika semoko ye na ya link ya kan kire Rawlings na Rawlings ya suma soja for no mo aba wadwumam ebia ofie na ya ba na ya chewa bro uti ya ni eja uti ya ni ekun na ya sianje company kita no ya je ya de by force tu ne se kan anje so ye kromfo Rawlings jeji nipa bebre ajapade ede ma ono ankasa ne nkrofo a one won eyeku one won edi nsemfo wo manum one won di awu wo manum na to cut everything short mempese meko too much na ebi obi beka se Rasti ya che breko ade asa ye nkoda ne hwan no hwe Rawlings kum ya sambese so no ankasa ne namfofo sojafo enum ebo wontu okun won in the face of everybody obi ahui in 1979. Rawlings is a sound non quan in Crawford and watching a soldier for a sound online. A kumonina. A bios udu same bois and in the oh, what is the video? For just a minute. I'm not finding the video. Yes. She can't just say Rawlings here. Hey, you dini okumu nipa. Now so on tiasia. Kwana kobisa Rawlings. Nkwasi afọ na omu defend Rawlings no say. Sa nipa nwotwe wei. Omu funu wo hefa. Why ni ku won? Eba ni se ni ku won. Sa eni sa sojafoɔ wei sa sojafoɔ enwatwe wei a Rawlings ball modern ema yeku won no bɔne bɛna na ɔmo de ayɛ Rawlings na enemo pe bibi ahwewa ho nanto ba say I want you to look at something very well. The person who hear bibi for when you hear bibi o when you hear bibi enti say Samuel Jinapo e kan the parliament say John Jinapo e kan the parliament say Rawlings ye wudini a odika wan else nkon kama ngichim e o microphone ankasam no Ghana for hu Vivian Kuma Mwakwaba Oskani kwajo me Mwakwaba pa Ghana for e nipa bia I say ye passem I swear to my God say any serious country inka the name John Rawlings, Jerry John Rawlings, and can be cancel every politics more minum. I swear to my God, say can you mind be a serious pie in terms of politics, inka the name Jerry John Rawlings in our political arena was supposed to be cancelled. I was saying that yankataso say more be a money deni. She said the Germany only now can eat the same more politics ma. Ye more life imprisonment. Or more sign do home we had the chair because of Hitler. Who nim now yebu any of these European countries ya wasem. Enti who Rawlings utumeche wan kasa osoja for nipa maako nwotwe amanfo papa amanfo maame sorry amanfo papa nom amanfo wofanom amanfo nananom odi omu gina ho bo wontuo jiwa asem so yebeka ho asem general jiwa yebeka no so ho asem ajeje fo miensa na oku wom no so yebeka ho asem enti uti babina yebeka to say na Rawlings he was a good man, good wine man. Obi ana wa find se praye. Obedi Ghana konwa beye ne ntrotro asem a ode iko no. Ene Ghana ye can the most richest man oye nabusiamfo ye one of them. Obi oba ye o say abinuma ye yie oba na obia ye pe no. Ye wie na ne ba Zenatan Rawlings ye na ote parliament amanfo papa. Safna we eni kwase nka oba in politics po. No ko school UK. Aye. Wo maame no mutua tax ya. Now Rawlings they are top fuel and good play mu. Saturday Sunday. Na Zenatan Rawlings osua kwan ye fa so yetwi alupre, yetwi helicopter. Me ameti hoyi. Ominya panyi na oti hoyi. Moto kura ro ya kura papa timi to bi ma wase fasua moto ka. In the name of we have to be equal. But say socialist people we wa ho. Omo ya wodifu. They are wicked in their blood. Now they nipan enwotwe na Rawlings kun wo no. Ye hwe this small documentary emfa omo ho. Ye hwe sa small documentary we emfa omo ho. Ye wia na ya to aso. Hwe sa documentary we.
Flight Lieutenant J.J RAWLINGS of Ghana is remembered for many things, one of which is the execution of 3 former heads of state and 5 other generals during his first tenure as military president of Ghana. In this edition of Back in History, we bring to you the story of the arrest and execution of the former heads of states and the 5 generals. We present their names, faces, and profiles, and also present the reaction of Ghanaians and the international community to the executions. We shall present their names in no particular order, but beginning with the 3 heads of states. Welcome to this edition of Back in History. The first person is General Ignatius Achemgbong. He was 47 years old when he was executed. Achemgbong came to power on 13th January 1972 when he removed civilian President Kofi Bousia from power in a bloodless military coup. He remained in office till July 1978 when he was removed by his own deputy, General Fred Akufo. Upon his removal from office, Achemgbong ended his military career and went back home and lived a private life. When J.J RAWLINGS took over as military head of state, he ordered for the arrest of Achemgbong. Achemgbong was then taken before a military court-martial and accused of corruption. He was pronounced guilty by the court-martial and sentenced to death by firing squad. J.J RAWLINGS, being the military head of state at the time of the sentence, gave his approval for the execution, and on 16th June 1979, Achemgbong was taken before the stakes and shot. This brought to an end the life and times of General Ignatius Kutu Achemgbong. It was the first time in the history of Africa that a former head of state of a country would be tied to the stakes and fired. The international community was shocked, but for Rawlings, the execution needed to be carried out to, in his words, purge Ghana of corrupt elements, and there was no apology, no going back on it. The execution of General Ignatius Achemgbong was the first of many executions to come. Other former heads of state would also be lined up and executed in the coming days. General Ignatius Achemgbong was one of the earliest trained military officers of Ghana. He joined the military in his youth. He was born in September 1931. At his birth, Ghana was known as Gold Coast and was under colonial governance. He was born to Catholic parents who gave him the name Ignatius at baptism. Ignatius attended Catholic primary and secondary schools in Trabuam and Kumasi, both in the Ashanti region of Ghana. He worked briefly as a stenographer and as a teacher before joining the army. He was sent to England by the government of his country for military training at Aldershot. On completion of his training, he was commissioned for the Ghana Army in 1959. On his return to Ghana, he was deployed by the military to several military institutions and formations. During the Congo War, Achemgbong served as a member of the United Nations Peacekeeping Force. He served as military head of state of Ghana for 6 years. He was married to his wife, Faustina Achembong. The second head of state that was executed was General Akwasi Afrifa. Afrifa became military head of state of Ghana following the unexpected resignation of his boss, General Joseph Ankara. Kwame Nkrumah was the first Prime Minister of Ghana. The Constitution of Ghana was later amended to provide for the office of President, and Kwame Nkrumah also became the first President of Ghana. While in office, Nkrumah traveled to Hanoi, then capital of North Vietnam, on a state visit on the invitation of the then leader of the country. While in Hanoi, his government back home in Ghana was toppled in a military coup. Young military officers like Emmanuel Kotoka and Akwasi Afrifa were actively involved in the planning and execution of the coup. The coup brought Nkrumah's rule to an end, but the coup plotters brought a more senior military officer on board as head of state in the person of General Joseph Ankara. Ankara accommodated the coup plotters in his government and gave them juicy positions. It was General Ankara who brokered the Aburi Accord between Lieutenant Colonel Emeka Dumegu Ojukwu of Nigeria and Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon in his last attempt to prevent the outbreak of a civil war in next-door Nigeria. General Ankara also had a friend from Nigeria called Francis Aton Nzeribe. Nzeribe was an international businessman and arms dealer. Ankara was accused of engaging in corrupt practices with Aton Nzeribe and was forced to resign from office. Ankara resigned from office. This is how Akwasi Afrifa became his successor as the new military head of state of Ghana. Afrifa governed for a short while and saw to the conduct of democratic election. He handed over power to the winner, Dr. Kofi Busia, as second democratically elected president of Ghana. Afrifa then retired from the army and engaged mainly in farming. He also took part in politics. He later contested for a seat in parliament and won, but was never alive to occupy the seat. He was arrested in his farm at Mumpong on the orders of J.J Rawlings. He was detained, tried by a special court-martial on charges of corruption while in office, and sentenced to die by firing squad. Under approval of Rawlings, he was tied to the stakes and fired on the 26th day of June 1979, 10 days after the execution of Ignatius Achembong. His body was buried without ceremony at the Nsawam Prison Cemetery in Ghana. In 2002, President John Kufuor gave approval for the exhumation of his remains from the cemetery for reburial in his hometown of Krobo, following a petition by the wives of the slain generals. General Akwasi Afrifa was born on 24th April 1936. At the time of his death in 1979, he was 43 years old. He attended the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England. He also attended the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, also in England. He also attended the School of Infantry Heath, United Kingdom. He was also an alumnus of the Defense College, Teshi, Ghana. He was commissioned in 1960 as second lieutenant for the Ghana Armed Forces. He worked in the army for several years. He was married to Christian Afrifa, and together they had 9 children. The next head of state that was executed was General Fred Akufo. He was the last head of state before Rawlings. He is a person that succeeded General Achembong through a palace coup led by him. On taking over from Achembong, he began his administration smoothly, but in no time a coup was staged against his government by soldiers led by J.J Rawlings. The coup was not successful, and J.J and his associates were arrested and detained. It was General Fred that constituted a special court-martial to try them. Rawlings and associates were pronounced guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad by the military court-martial. While in detention, awaiting the approval of Fred Akufo for their execution, a group of junior officers broke into the detention facility and freed Jerry Rawlings and others. They then caused the removal of General Akufo and the enthronement of Rawlings as the new military head of state of Ghana. While in office, Rawlings ordered for the arrest of former military heads of state on charges of corruption, and General Akufo was among those arrested. He was taken before a special court-martial and pronounced guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad. On 26 June 1979, he was tied to the stakes and shot at the Teshi military range, Ghana. This brought to an end the earthly life of General Frederick William Kwasi Akufo. Fred was born in March 1937, and at the time of his execution in 1979, he was just 42 years old. Fred attended Presbyterian Boys' School in Odumashi, Krobo, and later enlisted in the Ghana Army in 1957. He trained at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, United Kingdom, and was commissioned for Ghana in 1960. He also attended the National Defense College, India, in 1973. He was married to Emily Akufo. 5 other generals were also executed. The first of them, in no particular order, was General Robert Kotei. Kotei was the Commissioner for Information in the government of General Ignatius Achempong. He also served as Commissioner for Housing. He later served as the Chief of Defense Staff in the government of General Fred Akufo. He was thus very close to power. When Jerry Rawlings seized power from General Fred Akufo, there was an announcement that all former political office holders should report to the nearest police stations to them. Kotei was one of the first to hit the call. He surrendered himself to the officer in charge of the Achimota police station in Ghana. The police communicated to the military that Kotei had submitted himself. He was then placed under arrest and later taken away to face trial on charges of corruption. Some reports have stated that he was taken before the court-martial, while other reports have stated that he was never tried at all. On 26 June 1979, Major General Robert Kotei was executed by firing squad. Just like others executed with him, his body was buried without any ceremony. He was buried at the Nsawam Prison Cemetery. He was married to Nancy Kotei, and together they had 9 children. He was 43 years old at the time of his execution. The next person was Roger Feli. Roger Feli was a colonel in the Ghana Army. He was born in May 1941. Roger had served as Minister of Foreign Affairs from 1975 to 1979. He was commissioned in 1963 as a second lieutenant for the Ghana Army upon his completion of military training in Ghana and in the United Kingdom. He was a member of the National Redemption Council headed by General Ignatius Achempong. Before his appointment as Foreign Affairs Minister, Feli had served as Commissioner for Works and Housing and also served at various times as Commissioner for Trade and Industry, Commissioner for Finance and Economic Planning. He was thus considered by Rawlings' government as one of the senior military officers who was too close to power and needed to be eliminated. On 26 June 1979, Roger Feli was lined up along with other top-ranking military officers and executed by firing squad at the Teshi military range at Teshi on the outskirts of Ghana. Roger Feli was buried without ceremony at the Nsawam Prison Cemetery. His remains were however exhumed along with others and taken home for reburial on the permission of President John Kufuor following the petition submitted to him by widows of the executed military officers. Roger Felly was 38 years old at the time of his execution. He was the youngest of the persons executed. The next person was Air Vice Marshal George Yao Bokye. He was born on 25th December 1937. He served as commander of the Ghana Air Force and a member of the Supreme Military Council of Ghana under General Ignatius Achempong. As commander of the Air Force, Flight Lieutenant J.J RAWLINGS was a junior officer to him. When Jerry took over as military head of state, one of the persons arrested and detained was Air Vice Marshal George Yao Bokye. On 26 June 1979, he was lined up and executed along with other high-ranking military officers. At the time of his execution, he was 41 years old. He was trained at home and abroad. He left behind a wife, Beatrice Afua Bokye, with whom he had 5 children. The other person executed was Rear Admiral Joy Kobla Amedume. Rear Admiral Joy had served as the Chief of Naval Staff. He was thus considered to be too close to power. When Rawlings came to power, Joy was arrested and detained on charges of corruption. And on 26 June 1979, he was executed by firing squad along with other generals. His body was buried without the usual military ceremonies, but several years after, his body was released to his family for a burial during the government of President John Kufuor. The last but not the least of the eliminated generals was General Edward Kwaku Utuka. Utuka was a high-ranking military officer who had received training at home and abroad. On his return to Ghana, he was posted on several military assignments, and when the military took over the reins of power in Ghana, Utuka became an integral part of the military government. Rawlings considered him as corrupt and ordered for his arrest and detention. He was executed on the same day with General Ignatius Achempong and was therefore one of the first 2 persons executed by the Rawlings administration. Rawlings justified these killings and told the people of Ghana and the world that the killings had become necessary in his bid to rid the country of corrupt elements. He called it, quote, house cleansing. He stated that Ghana was never going to witness transformational development if the generals were allowed to stay alive. For Rawlings, the elimination of the generals was the beginning of progress and development for Ghana. Several persons in Ghana went into jubilation over the elimination of the generals. They saw Rawlings as a man of the moment and a Spartan that Ghana badly needed at the time. Others, still from Ghana, however, disagreed with Rawlings. They rejected his modus operandi. They called it dictatorial. In this category were mostly Ghanaians who were abroad and could voice out their opinions without fear of arrest and detention. There were indeed cases of corruption in the country. Following many years of president of Ghana, Kufuor justified his action as being in line with the need to engender healing and national.
Enti abusianfo yebiso say Rawlings wudifo a ka kire won say yes oye wudifo. So what? Rawlings oye wudini pa as soja for Ghana for mpemfo na omo anyina nka omo tena ase nka omo bebo oman ne nchichire enwotwe ena okum won omo ye ne hwi o ohyira do ukogina court anim ana waketwa aguso ye koromfo na wa ma ya bowtuo ne yakum wi awufunu yemfa ma obusua o yemfa ma obusua na ya hwe na wo zenata Rawlings senka Ghana ya man bia yesi do so wo nka politics nka ya ma wo manim nka politics no ma amene wo asefo nyina nka moye tabu kese pa in terms of politics ba mu bibi nti ye jeje mo so amosan ko gina parliament so mu bedi nkwasi asem enti someone gyina po oyɛ ne yie video ya me bɔ kyerɛ nyame na me ka kyerɛ wo sɛ Rawlings ku ɔno ankasa ne nam fufuo ɔmo ana ɔne ɔmo yɛ adwuma ɔmo ana ɔmo yɛ head of state sɛ no a papa ichi won ku won kwa for no reason na businessman oku ɔmo bi anie agyegefoɔ mmiɛnsa papa we ma yɛkɔkye wɔn anopa anadwo 9 o'clock ya anwummerɛ 9 o'clock firi wɔn fie ekokum wɔn kwa adenti a saa agyegefoɔ no na ɔmo ɛko ɛde ama businessmen a yɛgye ɔmo agyapadeɛ firi wɔn nsam unim sɛ Father Samuel wɔ hɔ Aja Samuel hello Pacho Temenka. Okay, woman to us. We are now or yen name my ye. Rawlings may to me consisa. A judge for me and son. Eddie free won fee, ekuku mokwa, adentia. Sa judge for no to a muhuasi hose. Omobeku. Eddie ama wine. Eddie ama sebio a juma nipa no mo ye juma dena. Omo agyapadeɛ Rawlings ne nkromfo wi afiri omo agye afiri omo nsam enti bia wonim history ne dia de bɛka kyerɛ obia no bɛgye adi judgefo a yekum omo nie kwadwo agye ya Japan wonim nipa kora I think say that is the father of now Kwabena Japan. Cecilia Kunantin Ado. Mame ononyem. Papa mame no onyem. Oye judge nso no onyem. Rawlings me ko che no firi ne fie ko bɔ ne tuo kum no. Frederick Poku sa akɔde ye ko fa ne firi ne fie ko kum no kwa. Adentia ɔko de amagana fo ana Rawlings ne nkrofo agege omo agyapadeɛ. Inti ye ka muso mayenka. Miya Samuel. Pacho Temenka. Aja. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Pacho Temenka. Pacho Temenka. Hello. Hello. I'm say baby you want network no. O network ni nyina so yie. Ntu betumi nya baby papa gina. Hello. So Tim kan yie. Yeah, I think say on Tim kan yie. I'm nyini free some fa no mra biem e bia na ayeka. Chese Emo bi megina nka ncho so Rawlings so ni papa o. Rawlings so ye wudini. No ye wudini pa. He. Ghana for ma me fo bi na yesisa bi na 50,000. Papa we begina ho ka chom so mo mfo mo sika mra. Na on sign fa ma mo oji sika ni nyina de kogu bank wa mfa ma mo biem. Ene Ghana ban saase ahodo ekita na adjuman kunadu e wo Ghana mamu. Ye ka ye wie 31st woman why ohe Ghana sase kita wo in the name of I'm coming to fight for you ube kwama why na ube kwama no uba se ube didi wanka so bottom ena me ma ba kunkan ai wase judge for no kwa na ba akokora guso a o ma ne ba no fo ye fa ma me no kokum no Pacho Temenka. Mr. Samuel, let me say baby o network ni nyina so yi o. Hello. Yemi aba kwanjo ne sen kope so Pacho Temenka. Hello. Oh. Asemi ye yo. Temenka. Tumi kasa nke bebo apa because mitumi say wo asem kapa I think it's all some come, but I don't know why the network is doing like that. I am here, pa. Hello. Hello. Ajauti Venka. Papa, yedi yetu nka wo ha o. No, I think the network is not working. I think the network is not working. Oh. Semi yame ya pa o. Well, I think say on second today or on some park today. Because me when anim kura wa nyini kakra. Ajauti yanka. Hello. 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 Oh, I don't know. Well, in any case, I'm saying the name am koye. So, entimi yanom. Ajamatins. Hello.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't mampe NDC asem. Ampe Rawlings asem. Me ya bufan mo kwatena obi nchen wo Winneba. Ekuredi aso pono ho yefa ho nsuechi. O ma mo yem fan phone na wo ho no, they will know it. Na e kwatena mo nchen no, o mo hwe me fine. So o bo babrabo mu. Nti one Mr. Akwa, Medjako bi na Rawlings mo yekuru Medjako camp, camp Medjako bi no.
Aye.
Woman ko tra mo nchen. Tata me ko me ko tell me pa friend na Akwa. Nti Medjako Sata ko secondary school. Nti of secondary school ba Sata ko be very little boy. Nti bin na da ko students ba ko no omba. Na da ko mi tu so nti e wo so research ho no e kroketi we bi. Nti wo ba na me dibika but was akwa abo na me dibika ma ko da na the trunk do. I can't carry the trunk, but I will never allow anybody to carry. Na akwa obusui mu no to brodo no that seven sa no that damia no de me kofie no one mpen France kofie and we know try anti akono are you very nice guy and the world is you kuru kukusa akwa no that one a military officer.
Wow. Okumni kwa.
And what me say me and this D Saboy, Okum and 2 weeks in Papa we.
Wow.
Papa Giron and Aqua, we. 2 months one. I don't die Jagana from home. One him tells us, and is one of Pramadi and the Saboy no Kunu. Different, or no, a major, or Tatuaco military, or where major Aqua. Where's no Kunu? Kuben Papa we. Well, if you win back, cook to heavy, we wouldn't buy my phone in search you. What are you trying? And be ama and this city. Oh, come in, Pessimity.
Obi a kum obi a ono na ohwe ono na ope wasem sa.
I'm not sure. Oh, you need papa, Nipa, na commander form. See the way it's happening there, men trust with that. And this is Mindy, and TV the Kakaba Kawan. And this is I am life for a
or Chamashina that for a back door near Dinko. Why?
That's
it.
Okay, bye.
And Tabusia, oh, the Obiko Casse, Rollins, Mulder. Now, Jababina would defend na. I'd say, wouldn't o mine history. And I be how I journey. Bibi how I journey. Say, mpanyinfo a wɔbɛdi Ghana man so ansa na wɔba bɛdi ɔman no so. Ɛnam sɛ wɔamfa kwan papa ne bɛdi ɔman no so nti no, wotumi kyi ɔmo sa ɔmo nyinaa like kum ɔmo nyinaa nipa nwɔtwe. Ɛnsi hɔ a, okum obiara na wafa sogyafoɔ mmienu ne mmiɛnsa aka ho ne wakum ɔmo aka ho. Into the year 8 times 3, na hwɛ nipa duro kum ɔmo. Aso J.J mo de mmara yɛ adwuma wɔ man no yɛ nneɛma wonti na wokum ɔmo. Asikafoɔ ɔmo abrɛ nipa ɔmo abrɛ ɔmo mogya mo akreti nnwuma ama amanfoɔ anya adwuma yɛ. Osi wo ba bia ofiri sika ni hɔ voter nti no wokum amanfoɔ. Na ogye ɔmo japadeɛ. Na da bia America no Ghana hɔ no ɛna yɛ sɛ yɛni mmara so. Sɛ nkedi mmara so paa enka saa ne mma no nka politics nke mo mmane ho da. Entimi a me de me no si wɔ ha brɛkɔ ha de asapa ɛna ade asapa but na have to do this show. Say you serious pa nka Rollins asefo nka the political arena they will never venture to come close. You serious wa nka the name J.J Rollins no nka ye kanka na amanyo sema ye money din fa mata ho nka ose me ye musuo mayen papa de tumi kukumasi dwam ko fa maamefo e bai omo baabi e wo nipa nim etwamu ma ai papa ukono obi ya dwuma bre anya ne ho a wo so nte ase ku ana wakum no ebenya akwanya na wadwan kwa no de ne makọ na okubi na dwuma kuro foforo so ena ndi sini akwada so de onam so onya dwuma anye ento koto ba man ndi si o moda abuja fa me sheda ne board documentary ne kire mo no me sheda pa because sometimes awu me na me ye blogger no asem bi ohana me ka kire wa e biara obedwe se bia ma hyeda me ye propaganda na asem ya me kam ni se mpemfo bebre o platform wo so omu nim ni nyina enti saazina ta Rollins ne de onfa nto ne tim se wa ye lucky kura mpo se ma na kwanyama ne wura Parliament of Ghana wa ye lucky o papa oba so be kwama pepe yo aba ene muna mu sika wo man no mu ye de na nya sa sika no adwuma ben na wo papa no maame o mo ye na o mo abrabo mo mo sa sika no miya samoro usu asem na wakane na okrepa se yese bia je kufo na ye good manner nka Rollins nka ose nko nchini tum ka ose nko ba ya nko nchini tum awudi bebre ya awudi ye nyina wo you don't go international court to cry bet you for life for your rest of your life. na mo manya no ebe wura Ghana Parliament ebe kire what we should do abusia for time ko bre continue de mo be sia so be person French na adwen a ekwan dem ai wo person French wa adwen bia no ekwan dem utumi frɛ na wa che wa adwen my break because I wanted to come earlier but you didn't want to me ama now the mutia ye interview bi na ye visa Rawlings say nti nipa okunkum omo no ete wo sen wo die ba wo so ti asem o kan tra wo.
An unconstitutional act of a coup involves a real crisis of conscience. Did you have a similar crisis of conscience?
I was not the only one. The armed forces.
I'm talking to you
no,
now,
no,
though.
I understand.
So can I ask you, did you have a crisis of conscience in the way that General Afrifa did in '66?
I was representing the conscience of the armed forces, the conscience of the nation.
In 1982,
yes.
3 judges, 1 a woman, 2 of the men were killed in a rather gruesome fashion, shot at a military range, and then their bodies were burnt.
Yeah.
Does that trouble you?
Yeah, but Obazon Kasa. Okay, me do have to platform so to make us.
Okay, but the chatty phone and my pants. I saw Cabiano. And you come to Pona Ocha. I run the Ghana pie camp and informed by Modia Brodia Ronso and Abawai. If you say control price a buy and runs at the buy will be a fan near ma a begun storm or send your man a ton a boarding. Near ma so ya phone ababo and your man don't come, semi bois. And you run the dear what Asantifona Casano said the said you, and I come for no. A casa come for a crapping for Cajon, a bon for Cajon, a Santa for Cajon, and I'm Fantafono. Run see there what dear bro. If say Kumasi for pa no more music papa be. And I be papa friend of watching mattress.
Watching mattress.
And I be papa, a friend of watching mattress. A Juma sound in the company at the core and say La Belia.
Yeah.
Tata brew no ye and sa dear. I want to see was there. In fact, the man of Quana can you see a mom beefy. I think or your book a ye. Sasabima or Mompota baby. Fortress, I never Ghana and some kindness and the other day. I never was a beton to any.
Yeah.
And President Kupo by as a boy, President Kupo by and one a Yajima do not want 3 months or not 70 court.
Aye.
You see, I had the students. Or more, I would take care more. Yabe as some cochuku. Mochuku, Costacuku, about on yet. Didn't you go?
What to come and stop?
What to come with classroom family, Babia Okokumase? Mudru Hane a stop cano, Tawan in Tabo Kai.
Aye.
Yeah, stop for more. Now, you must see Mamma. Mamma Mokochuku. Kukumba so kukusa. Runs there, Ghana for Nancasano, and I'm Casa, I come for Nancasana, Asantini, Bia, will be a country, be anywhere. I saw the NDC. What Miss Winnie Pug blame? None I did this, you know, could you a pump. I runs what did and somebody what did the Nassam could do. Runs there, or Honeypa, come for the or how more pane Santa for the. Na factories for Ghana. First name you Ghana. And you man Ghana, I never was a man for music free Ghana, a call. La Belle and Yadi.
Cote d'Ivoire, no.
Oh, and you want to see as well, what can I just a ton of Ucha? The banner say, and I'm saying Ghana for Nakasana, yam pen of cracker. That's what I say. Any patun tuno, a super tire, yam pen of crack. So, said we will be Hokra, I won't back. And the banner ya DNA and now can of crown. Who will be the chain or support.
Yeah.
Can Colaya said we are from back room. Hey, I hope a pack of 4 back room. Over my microphone back room. I can't yet do one when you my pet after riding or quite a professional manual. After Penifono and as a beefy a patcho. So if I also wouldn't hear, I saw a Timor. Uti Ghana, Sebi, Uti Ghana, Nesebi, I will cut in a channel. So I say, a man be class or ha. Who Ghana crown, Sebi, draws a crown, Sebi, a tea out the panel airpam. Obedu Chrome ha, or send you could knock a fan background when you're papa. Nakoyen Sempebre, own Pacon or Beman and answer, or Bill and Okashi CIS in Fanny. So, and to say, will be our year by Grandpapa, would the dear no cardi, so be support to NDC pass or ya Canadian. Nami who are there without Trimo. So I said, Omuni,
a man for any same way. No, it be Omunia.
So I said, Omuni in pa, as I say, Samijan Fiakito, Rabban Wabba. Okuja top brakwa, a ujila a domonim on mine. Nipa dompa ujina nimu. No ditro. Adia ya wadia. Media, me high. I said, what we pay? Eh? I feno a busa was some I say you busawo. And one answer to papa, so I saw one canoe. If you were there, it was fear. Oh, yeah, do I was fear. Somebody in him. A quaint body of fast or body of runners fast who couldn't go for no. A cooney power Ghana. No. I'm not a chair one number and 3 was also. So, now go there. And today, what can be as well can be unless it be a ton of wucha. So, yes, a ton of wucha. I know how can a Ghana for Nancasano, Yam Peno Cracker, and a sentinel. I decided your mamma catches a fee. I feel during the Yarena Yarepa, Ghana for Yare. Nakadia. Nanado neba umia ya Magana fui. Kagana for back to a batiano. Inia. Kagana for back to a ba. Any power catching them, you know, Kumasi catch them, so Kumasi for the etro. What the throw that one more. To see and one ya home. Na me Casamua, a memono. Ye can't create or can't contumpo and no cook at Graviaca. The Ghana for what is my wing, as for someone Tiasi, the back of Abama, Domama. Nothing in Colano, Mukos was here, Chama allowance, Musu. Muko to your school, I feel I for Musu. Me say, won't you turn in there with education? Won't you? So, be beer, another way, you free beer, I won't come. Roma say, well, you could market, that be a 2 years.
Yeah.
There be a rest for market to be a 2 years. Lotto, Ghana for one Lotto.
Dabi, I na profo, Lotto mucha be near.
So I say, Omudia, yet Tomatas.
Bebre qua.
I do not plan, I would do more than one there for you, yet I do me antitas.
Yes.
Company, I do not come as a antitas where I would have come waiting, dear. Now don't you come when I say, Yatitas, I could try better and be at Timas into the top. And any JJ, but beside the Sumubio. So, if I remember the Sum fear night, I am ya. A month for this, free hackaway, a month for course, so some could be a JPC, a month for Boca, and what Chromas is what you be saying, I bet you.
Oh, no, Ben, I can say, Upon Probit.
So, the brony, you about me, what you be saying, over to you. Now, someone to be asked, you can be a one to fias. Then Koranka the kitchen, nursing training for Alavana Yaki. And so, young too. And then one customer to son of my pampasso. Mamma more you be. Like what can say Chromas in a piano, yet has it. I will win them with her, so it told them. Massin, I do not I may run up a pump. It's your toe, a reable road slow toe, a then Oberco. One could 2 days here. The one that's a papa be a car. It be you.
Yes.
Protest. I'm what you can hold one. I said, you in some full corner would ye. And I don't call by a day. Oh, my room has it, and the room has a room. You can say 1,000 euro could tower, 1,000 on top of the hour. 1,000 euro and toffee. No, what you can hold we say, and now I am upon it, but we and share with the 2 for one couple. No one pay with no petty, no mamma. I know a car and a part to no with dinner. What's what you want? Won't share answer. And then Jimmy. And then see a chump. What papa was scared. So go school. Oh, and to me, they offer us to be a dinner. I feel like I sat in the same training. Because Jenny said, why a lock is so a cool gremo? The chimp, training, and walk. Second, the affair of gremo. Come at Leffy. If you say, I'm quite I don't know why you can't you had a piano. I know. Now, so be a quack of a fee about we need an oil. Come off of a play, I never saw Ben a while which has this year. Be anyhow. Abrocha have been any okay, I won't just say. So I say, Abrocha has to say be any. Oh, 1 to 2 near my year. See, Obi how the cook. I have been 3 times on the okay, so we okay, Obi how I need. So I say, no what I was saying, Rollins a park, when you have first super factories and a good Ghana. And you come as a phone penny for, and a broom from penny for, I don't put a sika. Rollins is Jessica in 50, that time get to 50 CDC, like Cocono. Okay, so what will be a fabra, about 4 pack of the bottle. I know what you call it, what you have scan of Rollins had to scan my way back. Of course, scanning will be up there, and Yenisika. Also, for scan of brother, maybe scan a call bank. A bit, you see, you clone, Papa, I had antobag, Bamians. What is that for scanning? Papa, for house, I will do it.
Wow.
Ron City, what you bro. You can't power what you bro, Ghana party. Only Rollins here, or your mamma. Sanko Fu say, a wood dear will move through Papa, and this in India would do. No be a better than this if you are said. What you catching is that they were then I was an Aduna Kutana. There was no kind of creature where some of shack like a dog with it. Some of the for your mother. Or pass a law school, no. I ain't caught to be like with be some that. That's when I was cut.
Yeah.
Okay, the top rock. What we go. What pass it? And so, no for playing call London, Koye.
Yeah.
Okay, the top only down America. Or what down America?
Wow.
Okay, or what down our America. You see, or what down America. There's a tournament. Okay, the top wired mother.
Ajuma Bay. Bay.
Oh, yeah, mother. Oh, we are school, Anna, a Tamis Adaroma. What didn't share? As was okay, the Sorana, or no crop for 30 and work as we say, also come up in Wasson. Will be about the product. So just here, no Mudinachi. Why any sing by the sing down say Akawa Army? So just say, if you know,
Saint Bogras.
So just say, yes, sir. Come up for Casano. I didn't a I didn't a form. So I didn't a form. And any panic be so I'm a free so just say,
yeah.
Naka. Any panic be free, you say, and come phone be a web frame. Also can't be 7 no money now. So, no, we actually. Or be also watching, and whatever mamma. Come when you were, didn't send your Pusiana, or so be much like mamma. And no, actually. Now, your mamma cast one of bomb Simon. And I see what you won't be maybe the bomb price won't be PM. Oh, papa, oh, mammy was canoe. No, I bet it. Any papa, brands, and we do a pass up with Chasino. Say be easy. And yes, there's how. Ah, Opi Pesica, Opi Petek is crack of fee. And why a diamond? And who share any penny? Who share any penny beer? Penny for now. So you know, about Trepa and about Masaya. Or more what you be obvious. I would say so. We need what you must say. Now you're to ma. Oh, they hit up a I never work on a bit like Malatajum. I could not body. I will go up and ready. I never go. Papa Ben, Mammy Ben, or Fabian, I couldn't feel it. Because did it. A 4 minute house also my neighbor, a quack time paper body, and last time another body, I'm going to bunch and I say, could by baby. Oh, and I got a phone and Cassano. We knew their house. So what I said, we knew their home. Say to Mamma, we park Ghana for a bumper or so as I made you over Sunday. But who's a Ghana for any park? So, I'm pa. And he Ron is a poor Kuma for you. I know, I'm not condoning NDC. What about that? And this, what do you do, man? You find a war, let's be so. Ah, what's your sick of 4 pounds to music offer to markets here? The Ron is a big woman at winning. I say, I control price in buy. Almost a liar, man for so that we put 1 man or the night, you know, say, a boy, say, I'm a tono. A man for a ton to ma, must say a scaffold ton to ma, and near my orders at you more, near one don't come. A bond don't come, control price. That's what can they say? I told them, which one crap on our call, and a man or so. Or we try in a Ghana for them because I didn't tire, said me. Yeah, a Bronia, what the 5 years ago, I'm not telling him to check. Yeah, Ghana for no, you go on. Ah, but they only say, yeah, Ghana for pa.
Yeah, some more.
Sure.
No problem.
But when you said you can, That's why they come ubu. I no crap na come. It's about bia no crap na oka.
Yeah.
But your program pa. Uba so as well bia. Now, that's why you feel we problem no abo. Anya kono na opeso ye baby o de sabe jam shakoto.
Yeah.
Ye don mama no na sabe jam school.
Yeah.
Abruni boy ya wasa ma post ya o de call ofusu ko ofusu ai.
Elikaji ana.
I want to say your mama na hwe no.
I say I'm so yes your man post. I'm so man see obi ana bibisa.
I want to see baby na ai ofusu ai ofusu ai.
Ofusu kwa che.
Boy no adwo. Anyo ofusu kwa che. Boy bi MPP tab na boy bi hwe no. Kofi ofusu cancer.
Ah okay, yeah. Mahu, yeah.
I want to boy neko.
Wow.
So na me chat. What catch him say and ye money be on ma no do ma na hwe school. Law school won do ma na hwe no. And okro beka. Just I'm for na kasa won ho a won tro ma se na do ma ma speech na and bra won ye campaign no I won bo sem sha e ka gimi sem kwa na bo na sem no do ma any power catch him say no and okre da ho won ka o de no kre kontompo na de ka ho na o da ni pagene and then okwa party pay no tin che so nursing train na woko no alaba ka credit ba 400 no de ba wotem
etwam
o tin che se o gene ho a won ti ase o gene ho a won ti ase
ofa ma me mfo ni pa fufuro yeah
okay for the power
but that's be offer yankopon ka ho awusianfo ye wo fa Anthony yes and I will tell in Kano ye papa we uko makora and I can't tell if an adjustion I don't know man we or a very big dealer ewo let them let the papa let the bia ope biano let the bia ope biano uko ne ho a ubenya bia to kama pa yes let the papa I want to stop my Boston international once I think Anthony Trading Enterprise my bonnie international but abusian breko pa sabre bia do breko mani kura kum my video we see na de bibia ba na we me da mo nyina ase abusian for ma me vida thank you very much the president herself J. Alexa J. I say RAZ we experiencing doom so as you speak it has hit us twice in 3 days within this week I'm using my laptop and phone for lighting. Yeah, Simo. I about to negotiate who so. Doom so na shase.
It's troubling.
Muntio question.
Bodies were burnt.
Yeah.
Does that trouble you? And their bodies were burnt.
Yeah.
Does that trouble you? The gruesome fashion shot at a military range and then their bodies were burnt.
Yeah.
Does that trouble you?
It's troubling. It is because it's regrettable.
So what? Onankasa say he has regret about it. Enti ono ankasa jitum so akum nipa na wo ti ba bi se RAWLINGS nye wudini a. Oho na esere. Ai, oho na esere. Nipa ankasa jitum so akum nipa. Enti so si unjini now the tip on kosu ni now. Enti to you RAWLINGS onye wudifo a ewa ujejeje. Abusianfo mani kumpa. Mede mo besia na said the tibia no chira. Yasen yeshia. Mama Esther Kebadima, Minister Wada, Michelle, Yepa, Sister Wada, Mama, the President herself, Michelle Pa, Michael Umbet, Michelle, Samuel Owusu, Miriam Michelle Pa, Alessa J. Michelle, Ranks Ford, Andrew Michelle, Young Ofoyi Michelle, Mama Elizabeth Chan Michelle, Dalia heavily, Michelle also Pa, just say Mama Michelle, Betty Kumsen or say greetings phobia. Me your phobia, me your friend of RAZ Media. By Kujo Michel, so pa Jonathan Ade Michel, Mami Cynthia Poma Michel, Vivian Kuma Michel, Mami Diana Pia Michel pa. Uskani kwajo kwache Michel pa. Makereje Michel. Ivan Sankama Kofi Michel pa. George Blair Anka Michel. Agnes, me mami di. Boabeng. Hey, against Boabeng. SKB TV and Kakari TV. We see informing for announcement when to Mammy Kosia. Onyame chemechia pa na we so asama ni mechia wonso sike o say a Japan mechia pa ma me retapia mechia o na ansta no de kro po list no how ansta say growing scale killed Afrifa a champion amedume odate the Supreme Court judges and hundreds of accounts. This a fact in Ghana. Let's be honest. What happened to Anchor? Since I'm an American engineer, the reality has come out. Eddie Okra Mechiapa, Mike Van Ofori, Deborah Chema, I'm a Mechio Yepa, you may with some coffee, so Mechio. Abusia Mechacha Munya, Janetta Fram, Mechamunina. Abusia Mesa said, Omadana Hehe. Kakari TV ewo YouTube na ko subscribe SKB TV ne new channel say obetumi aboa na the channel no agira na nan so yeah I hanso RAZ Media GH misraw se wonya subscribe ya meso say subscribe sanso na meso say like video no na yem push video no ma video no ya den kwada nim we say the tie bia no chena I will come back and what we're going to talk about this issue, but may any daytime na man for enya kwanya ayeden a participate na monya kwanya so afre akasa afa ho. Enti me da mo nyina ase ene mo bra busia makra mo. You meet tomorrow.